6 o'clock, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans are hiring Gus Bradley as their next defensive coordinator per multiple reports yesterday. Bradley worked this past season as the 49ers assistant head coach on the defense and now follows new Titans head coach Robert Saleh in Tennessee. Bradley brings a lot of experience to the table for the Titans as he worked as a defensive coordinator for 4 other squads: the Seahawks from 2009 to 2012, the Chargers from 2017 to 2020, the Raiders in 2021, and the Colts in 2022 to 2024. He's also the Jaguars head coach back in 2013 to 2016. Also, per Albert Breer yesterday, the Titans are hiring Marquand Manuel to coach the safeties. Manuel worked with Saleh with the Jets from 2021 to 2024 and was on Daboll's staff last season with the New York Giants. And the Nashville Predators, they do it again with an epic comeback, scoring 5 unanswered goals to beat the St. Louis Blues 6-5 and win their second straight. Steven Stamkos scored twice in the third period, including the game winner with just under 10 minutes left to play. Ryan O'Reilly also scored twice. Philip Forsberg and Mike McCarron also netted the other goals for the Preds. Meanwhile, Roman Josi tallied 4 assists on the night. The Predators are now 3 points out of a playoff spot. They're back at it tomorrow night to face the Minnesota Wild at Bridgestone Arena. For all your foundation repair, waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Break it easy once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
A very good Tuesday morning to you in Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome in to Ramon and Will. 104.5 The Zone, the 104.5 The Zone app, and Zone TV, where you interact and listen. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch with the F&M Bank chat open for your comments. 615-737-1045 is our number. We've had a little bit of staff news pretty much every day over the last 2-3 weeks. Today, more to begin your Tuesday morning. Gus Bradley will be the Tennessee Titans defensive coordinator. If you have lost hair follicles and or have been a head coach in the National Football League in the last 15 seasons, the Tennessee Titans could be calling you this morning, Ramon.
Which requirement is most important? The losing of hair and not replacing the hair follicles? I think that checks out with all the coaches so far, man. I told you before we came on air, I said, what a staff. I mean, I know it's a lot of the name game and stuff like that other than the defensive line coach, White Cotton. Other than him, everybody else is coming with a lot of accolades of just a lot of years in the league, and you know who they are. I never imagined that this staff would also have Gus Bradley. So that to me, having a guy that's been a defensive coordinator does so many different things for Robert Saleh, who's choosing to call plays and be a head coach at the same time. It's almost as if he's got a parachute with Gus Bradley if this deal goes all the way through, and it's been reported. He said last week in his presser that you'll see the staff come together on Monday, and he did not lie. He dropped it like a fresh batch of brownies, I guess, or cookies or cakes, whatever it is, man. It's fresh. It is sweet. It can be very sweet for this team, Will. I didn't know he was going to have a pool like this. This is legit.
Albert Breer with the report yesterday, and all of the national reporters kind of had it together as always. The Titans are hiring Gus Bradley, who worked this past season as the San Francisco 49ers assistant head coach on defense. He is 59 years old and has been a defensive coordinator for 4 different teams. Seattle Seahawks from 2009 to 2012, Los Angeles Chargers from 2017 to 20, the Las Vegas Raiders in 2021, and the Indianapolis Colts in 2022 to 24. He was also the head coach of the Jags, of course, from 2013 to 2016. Gus Bradley has had a top 10 defense in points allowed 4 different times and 6 different defenses that ranked top 10 in yards allowed. What stands out, Ramon, And what is the reputation of a Gus Bradley defense in the NFL?
Very much defensive line centric, man. We talk about that 4-3 style of defense that you have. Attack, attack, attack. Like, that's just what they are, man. It's athleticism up front. It's linebackers that can run side to side. Well, like, to me, that's my forte right there as far as the front seven. It's a headache. Every single play is what it is. You got to have some horses up front is what you got to have with blending Robert Saleh and Gus Bradley's style of defense. Your dogs up front need to be land sharks. I know that's an Ole Miss reference right there, but listen to me. You can't mess around with that group. It's going to be edgy. The linebacker group is going to be athletic as heck. They can go downhill, but you'll see them be more side to side considering what you're asking the defensive line to do. Like, the chaos that you'll see from the defense is going to be generated by the defensive line or mostly the front seven as well. When I told you earlier, like, I like playing against 3-4 defenses when I understood the structure of it. Those guys kind of hold the point at the line of scrimmage, and the linebackers make all the money and all the plays. On this one, everybody eats because it's you bring in personnel for their specialty. If you got a guy that's great in space that's a linebacker, poof, bring him in. If you got a rangy guy that can play outside edge and drop off the ball as well, that's what he provides to you. And if you got a defensive lineman like a Jeff type, like a DeForest Buckner that I played against, when you blend the Robert Saleh defense with it, you get some Pro Bowl, All-Pro guys when you have him as your defensive coordinator, because he's going to tell you eat and go attack. And as an offensive lineman, I hate those types of defenses. It just never stops. It's one play after the next. It's when you have to watch the backup and what he is as well, because that guy's been chomping at the bit because the vet in front of him has been feeding him gunpowder, and the defensive coordinator and defensive line coach is letting them know this is your opportunity. So this is what you imagine when you start playing defensive line. Like, they just let you go.
So the cafeteria will start serving gunpowder now?
Yes, will. Okay. And it will not be wet. It will be dry, and it will be ready to explode at any point in time. Like, you're legitimately stuffing guys into a cannon and telling them sick them. That's what this style of defense is. 3
years in Indianapolis for Gus Bradley, where his defenses statistically were not great. 28th, and 24th in scoring defense. 1 year in Vegas under John Gruden, where, again, his defense ranked in the 20s in points allowed. From 2017 through 2020 with the LA Chargers, working with then head coach Anthony Lynn, he had 2 top 10 defenses. There were reports out there yesterday that he maybe would have replaced Robert Saleh in San Francisco had Raheem Morris not been available.
Oh, yeah?
And another report says he specialized in red zone defense with the 49ers. And though the Niners were 21st in run defense and 25th in pass defense and last in sacks, they were 12th in the league this past year, 53.8% at preventing touchdowns. Diamado Lenore quoted as saying, Gus helped us a lot figuring out stuff. He had so much knowledge. It's less about the statistics. It's less about the defensive coordinator stats and numbers, because let's be honest, this is Robert Saleh's defense. Mm-hmm. Robert Saleh will be calling the defense. But Ramon, for a coach who has spoken a lot about learning things from the first time around and maybe not being totally true to who he is as a coach when he became a head coach in Robert Saleh, you are not going to find a more experienced staff for a new head coach in the NFL this offseason, period.
No.
Anywhere.
No.
And so you have now 4 different coaches who have been head coaches before on your staff. You also, in your front office, have 4 different executives who have been highest-ranking football executives in NFL organizations. That's legit. That is significant. That feels like the Titans are starting to move a little bit differently. When you have head coach Robert Saleh, offensive coordinator Brian Daboll, defensive coordinator Gus Bradley, and special teams coordinator John Fossil.
It is. I like this defensive hire on the basis of, to your point about having 4 different head coaches, if Robert Saleh has to move over to the offensive side to pay attention to special teams, you got a guy in Gus Bradley. The defense is somewhat aligned, not fully, but they do.
100%.
You have him, Will. that can take over and run and incorporate and install the defense on a week-to-week basis, or set up the structure of it the way you need to, or just be a sounding board. Because why? This guy's been in the league for a very long time and got a lot of experience in management, right? Let's start there first. That's something I know Robert Saleh has to make sure that he doesn't neglect, is the management of this team. And if he can bounce, around the 3 different units and be personal with his guys, but also have a staff that he's given the power to go out and teach and coach and be able to trust, that changes a lot when you're asking him to be a better head coach. You don't want to neglect one side of the ball. I told you guys before, like with the way Coach Tomlin was with us, he would sit in on the offense or understand what we were doing on a week-to-week basis more than he did on the defense. Or if there was a team that he knew that we could take advantage of offensively because of what their defense was presenting, that's where his expertise is coming into. You also get that side of it as well, Will, is as much experience that you have defensively with the growth of Cam and this offense trying to build itself back up. You got defensive-minded head coaches on that side of the ball that can say, hey, you should attack this defense this way and that way and this way. And don't put Cam in this situation, and this is a team you should run the football against. You have that now in your arsenal, because I know this. That's what Coach Tomlin did, and I think he's one of the most brightest minds when it comes down to defense. So you mean to tell me you got 2 head coaches now that have had top 10 defenses in the NFL? The knowledge that you can carry going into a game week. Now, if you don't overload your guys and if those guys understand their assignment, I mean, with the right talent, the right understanding, this defense can be it can be really good. I'm telling you that. Like, you might see a big jump in year 1. I'm not overpromising that, but the way this is somewhat setting itself up, it's going to be a headache for teams moving forward.
And part of it depends on who you add to the team. But you make the right moves this offseason. You clearly have the staff in place that has done this before. And sticking around as long as Gus Bradley has in this league, it says you know what you're doing. The fact that he still has the ability to do it. 615-737-1045. I do have a question about the Titans staff for you when we come back. Plus NFL headlines from Monday in Santa Clara. Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book. It can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. That's next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, man. I was actually messing around with my HVAC yesterday because it was ice that was all over it from where the water was melting on top of it and kind of freezing up a little bit, man. It didn't cause an issue, but we hate when those issues pop up, or your plumbing or electrical emergencies as well. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost you if it get fixed, right? Or if somebody's trying to sell you something you do not need. I'm here to tell you, when you call Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly, and the price you're told is the price that you will actually pay with no hidden fees or surprises on your bill. They've been in business for over 35 years and are family owned and operated. And their techs, man, I'm telling you, some of the best people around. They're very professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And when they're on their way, you receive a photo of the tech and the link to track them in real time, so you're not sitting around wasting your time. The motto is, happy you'll be, or the service is free. Listen to me. To book with Hiller or learn more about them as to why I book with them, simply go to happyhiller.com.
So the Titans added another former head coach on their new staff for Robert Saleh yesterday. And I've got one big question about the way this staff will work on game days. Ramona Will at 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045 is our phone number. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, and Justin Hawkins. Ramon, I don't want to borrow trouble here and try to look too much into a negative, but I am just curious on the other side of this positive, this is great, experience matters conversation, because obviously having 4 former head coaches, Bones Fossil being one who's an interim, is great for Robert Saleh. Mm-hmm. So I don't want this to be me downplaying that, because I like the experience. But will it be challenging at all for Robert Saleh to have so many voices in his headset who will want a say, who have had the ultimate say before? Is there a potential challenge here in having so many experienced people who are used to being the guy in a lot of ways?
So here's the thing. Usually on game day, respect of the headphone set comes first. A lot of chatter, a lot of opinions on game day, a lot of input, just usually from my understanding, isn't tolerated on game day. Coaches go and talk to each other. What does your unit do? What did y'all think on this play? Or I've seen it offensively where the offensive line coach speaks to the offensive coordinator and be like, hey, we should run this play, and this play because this hasn't worked for us. It's usually the blow-ups is usually your guys not knowing your assignments, not, hey, we disagree on this or that in the game plan on these moments right there. That type of stuff is not usual on game day because, again, the DC in this situation head coach wants as less amount of conversation on there as possible over the mic. So them having to blow up because, hey, we should have did this and we should have did that usually doesn't happen. It's a conversation after the series to say what adjustments need to be made. But to your point, this many head coaches and talking heads that have this much knowledge, well, there will be something. Let me just throw that out there too. Here's the thing about it. With this much experience, ego's always a part of it. It just is. You don't make it this long in this business without having some sort of ego that your stuff is sweet and you know how to call it or this is a better situation. That'll mostly happen during the week, though, is we should do this. And by Friday, you get an opportunity to practice during the week where you're working install day on Wednesday. Thursday is usually short red zone. Then Fridays are your, hey, let's piece everything together. What did work, we're going into the game plan with. Well, look at these type plays, but you got to think at the end of the day, it's not a situation where you can just be rolling the dice and see what sticks and work. No, everything that they've shown you on the opposing side of the ball, the other team, you got to make sure you take away those things first. And usually you can come to an agreement during the week. But to your point, though, egos will be a part of it. And I think that's normal. You absolutely got to have that side of it, too. If they're in the team, defensive or offensive team meeting rooms and they're having blow-ups about we should do this or we shouldn't do that, well, let's take it to the practice field and see what happens. And I'll even add this, too. I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary. You don't have one voice that's ruling over everybody. I'll go back to Coach Tomlin because he's a free agent now at this point. But he's
Mike
always
Tomlin, your former head coach. Yeah.
He would always tell us, I don't care where good ideas come from. If it helps us win, don't hold a secret. We're trying to do one goal, and it's one common goal, and that's to win a game that's going to help us until going to a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. Now, being right during the course of the week does matter, and I don't think there'll be anybody that feels slighted. Philosophies with coverage, that can be an issue here or there. What are your guys doing? But that again, is a position to position, not necessarily, hey, I'm trying to trump you in everything that you do, but I'll say this in everything I wrote down about it. This is a good problem.
I think it's a great problem. No question.
You love this problem.
I agree. I think the question that Robert Saleh will have to answer is, how do I manage so many people who have A-level input, who have experience as primary sources? Because at the end of the day, Robert Saleh is the head coach. The Titans did not hire co-head coaches. They did not hire 3 or 4 people to do one job. They hired Robert Saleh to be the head coach, and they hired coordinators beyond that. Again, not a major negative. I just think it's something to consider and continue to monitor and just Gus Bradley has a level of gravitas and experience and credibility when he knocks on the door in your office and says, I want to do this. So does Brian Dable. So does Bones Fossil. I think the positive with Gus Bradley is there is a working relationship there already with him and Robert Saleh to say that those two will have had football conversations and had conversations with live bullets flying on game day, in practice, in meetings, and setting up profile tape for the organization and for the front office to know what they want in the NFL draft process. So I think it's less of a Gus Bradley conversation. I still think it goes back more to Brian Dable. And again, not being a major negative, not being something I'm concerned about, something that interests me. How two strong-minded individuals who have never worked together form that kind of working relationship in real time. I think it's going to be interesting to monitor.
It is. You know what? Just thinking about when you were talking, having this conversation about this many different guys. You know what I think has happened with Robert Saleh, or the way I see this situation. I think he was stripped so much of what he was capable of doing in New York that he's building a staff, Will, that pretty much takes the credit away from the front office or anybody who wants to involve themselves in what they got going on. Because to your point, with this many, talking heads that have this much experience, who's going to walk down to them and say, that's wrong?
Right. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, you're like, you guys, no. I think, again, when you were scoring as bad as he was with the Jets, that pretty much ruined his reputation for a little while until he got it back this past season. You're trying to bulletproof yourself to any outside questions from upstairs management, if that's the case, because I think that was a part of his situation with the Jets. Or if you to your point, you put yourself in a situation where you don't know what to call. You got somebody that can assist you during the course of the week. How do you beat this? Or, hey, they got all these pre-snap motions. How do we attack this? Where do we attack this? Because, again, there's a lot of stuff as a head coach that you also have to balance, and this is where that helps it. But he's, in my personal opinion, bulletproofing himself from losing control, to be quite honest with you.
However you build a staff, you are always going to have questions that need to be answered about how that staff comes together, right? Like if these guys had all just hired their friends and it's all people that have worked together, then you're challenging groupthink and you're challenging just, you're only hiring these guys because you've worked together. And when you put a staff together like the Titans have that may have some different experiences between offense and defense, clearly there's a relationship there between Dable and Saleh. Otherwise, you wouldn't have hired him. But there is not a working relationship there. You ask the opposite question. How do you work together? You got a lot of people who are your friends, who you like, who you respect in your industry, but until you start working together and until a client comes to you and says, hey, you messed this up, fix it, then you start to learn what that guy really is as a coworker. And that's essentially what we have going on here in a football staff. So interesting. I like it a lot. I like this staff a lot. And I think that if you are picking any problem to solve, I don't even like the word problem because it has such a negative connotation. If you just have any question that needs to be answered, it's how do you deal with too much experience or so much experience? Because there probably isn't such thing as, quote unquote, too much experience on an NFL staff.
This is to me, I'll say this. I'm not a huge analytical guy. Hey, go for it on these type of situations. I get it. At least to me, you get coaches with instinct that got to make,
muscle memory.
Yes. Field decisions more than anything, Will, to where, hey, I don't know it in this moment, or what would you do in these moments? Or, hey, Dable, we got you over here.
Yeah, I love that.
We're better off punting it right here. I know what the analytics say. Take the 3 points and let us play defense. You have that human component of, because I look at, who was it? Was it, Sean Payton? Let's go to the AFC Championship game. Let's go there. They're probably still playing football right now if he kicks that field goal in his 10-10. That to me is where having people on your staff that you respect, a voice that's been in these situations before, you say, take the points, our defense is killing it. Instead of saying analytically with a backup quarterback, we're supposed to take this rollout play on 4th down just because we're at the 2-yard line. To me, I want to remove those type of things with that experience, Will. So, yes, I agree with you. This is a great problem to have. On top of him saying that he also want to explore and expand the analytical side that the Titans have as well. There's an avenue, a room for that type stuff, but on game day, it's just a different world in my personal opinion.
Clyde is in Hendersonville, 615-737-1045. What's up, Clyde?
Morning, Clyde.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
I called in a couple of weeks ago with a question about Miss Amy and whether or not you thought she had established a culture and a reputation that would bring in high-level Tier 1 coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And the answers you guys gave, and I mentioned that I'm just a casual Titans fan, and the answers you guys gave changed the way that I'm looking at the organization. Opened up my eyes a little bit, and I'm looking at this hire now. And it's interesting that Will asked the question that he asked us now. And here's what I think about that. I think that instead of going after big names, the guys with the big flashy, this is who everybody's looking at, Robert Saleh is building a staff that has experience, that has success, that has a shared vision, but enough different thinking processes to challenge the status quo, to challenge the way that things get done. I look at some of the personnel that they're thinking about trying to bring in, looking at Jawan Jennings, looking at some of these other players to bring in. I'm about ready to attach my caboose to this Titans train.
You close, Clyde. You close. I hear you being hesitant right now, Clyde. But you're real close is what I'm getting.
So, and this hire right now at defensive coordinator, this really, there'll be some challenges, but these are not ego guys. There is an ego. There has to be an ego, but these are not guys that it's all about.
Why are you so hesitant still, Clyde? Like, just real quick, why are you hesitant?
I just need to see if it's great.
And that's what we would tell you, too. This fall still has to answer that question for you.
Right. And what has to happen, bring in the players to make these coaches successful. Putting the coaches in place is a great step. It's a positive step. It's what we needed. Now give them the players to work with to fulfill those dreams.
Sure.
Man, Clyde, I hope I see you in humble Hendersonville, man. We can
Appreciate
sit down
the call,
and have
Clyde.
this,
Thank you.
Sit down and have this conversation at Cafe Rocca or somewhere, man. I'll catch you around there at Jolly Ollie's, man. Appreciate the call.
That's good, man.
Absolutely, Clyde.
Thank you, Clyde. Appreciate it. Look, I think it's a fair conversation to have about getting back on board and trust being earned back. Things feel good right now, and I think that it is encouraging the difference in overall experience that this year one staff has today compared to the one that was here in 2024.
Here's the thing, though, I will say. Like, that staff tried to bring in a lot of experience. Like, and I thought about this morning.
And they did a position coach.
Yes, they
spots.
did. Yes.
Because we loved that at the time as well.
Absolutely.
Bill Callahan was a game changer at offensive line. Frank Bush at linebacker. Tracy Rocker at defensive line. I mean, you're talking about, at the time, Chris Harris and Steve Jackson. Like,
absolutely.
It wasn't a terrible staff, but in the decision-maker positions, at the coordinator spots, that initial staff of Brian Callahan, Nick Holt, Stenard Wilson, and Colt Anderson came with zero experience in each of those four jobs.
And I feel like they were game planned against as such, too. Like, I got to give a lot of credit to Denard. Denard is in a position where, with what he was given at the end of the day, he made it happen, in my personal opinion. So much so that he's already hired as a defensive coordinator with the New York Giants, if you did not know. Denard got right because
that one worked.
It worked out to you. Yeah, but to your point as far as being able to bring in the staff and have a game day presence and a head coach that knows how to call it and that's got a lot of experience and success with it, that's an upgrade, right? His staff, the way he's trying to piece this together, it seems to me that he can delegate where he wants his guys to do and what he wants it to look like on game day. And I'm glad that you said that. Like, that staff last time was good. This team, I don't know if it was ready for it on game day calling, Will, to your point, it wasn't there.
I mean, Luke Stocker was so good, he got retained also.
He did, yes. He absolutely did. The changes seem to have been the right ones. And the guys that were retained, Bones Fossil and Luke Stocker. I forget who else from that last staff was retained.
Tony Oden.
Fits what they want to do here more so. So I think, again, these are good problems. The game day presence should be a whole lot different.
Eric is in Nashville up next. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, guys. Just on the latest hire, guys, I, too, am excited about it, guys. And in general, I love all the hires. We're happy about it. And I think most Titans fans like all the hires. I think, to me, those Titans fans that are probably not happy with hires, to me, fall, I believe, in one or two camps. Either, number one, they don't like the hires because Saleh wasn't their coach, and some of the coaches probably want their coach. They probably want other coaches instead of Saleh and some of the other coaches. But I also think, number two, a lot of the Titans fans that probably don't like the hires are just not happy, period. I think they're only going to be happy once this team gets on the football field and starts winning. Until that happens, it doesn't matter what they do or do. They're still just not going to like anything until I guess they see or it's proven to them that this team could actually put a good product out on the field and win, guys.
Yeah.
Those are just my thoughts. Guys, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Y'all take care and we'll talk to you
You too, Eric.
Thanks, Eric. I'd be curious to hear where he's seen negative reaction to this, because I feel like there's not been really any negativity to these hires.
There's always one or two. Well,
sure, I'm sure if you looked hard enough, you could find it. But like in a world where you can walk outside and say the sky is blue and somebody will challenge you, like I have felt overwhelming positivity from this fan base about the hires they've made.
Yes, I've seen it. And I think nationally they're doing it as well. I was looking at a little bit of SportsCenter randomly yesterday, and they're panning the camera to the new coaching hires, and they stayed on Robert Saleh more than anything yesterday, which is new. Eric's point, I think, is this. There's a lot of fans that have felt this before. And they just want to see winning. Like, again, new coaching hires, new quarterbacks, new draft picks, all of the new in the offseason makes you feel, yes, good, warm and fuzzy inside. I do agree with that side of it that Eric said last is it has to be shown in September, right? That still has to have a payoff with these good feels moving forward. And I know free agency going to make people feel well. You got a lot of money, and there's an expectation you're going to spend a crap ton of money. And that's going to make you feel good like you're on your way to the Super Bowl. But I'm with that section of Titans fans that feel like I've lived this life the last 5 years. Show me. And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
And I think Robert Saleh would agree with that as well in his presser last week when he said that all of his in his presser, all of the things that he was saying is like, these are just words. It's about the silent tape. That's what he wants to show. I think that's what the fans wants as well. So I think they can agree on that aspect. So it's all about that silent tape. We'll see what happens on Sundays in September, October, and thereon. But I think there's an agreement on that. It's no more about, what could be. Let's just show. Let's show up. All gas, no brakes. We'll see what happens.
Do you think when they play silent tape that they play it in black and white with like the
when I came in the league, it was black and white.
No, is it really?
It wasn't black and white, but we went back and looked at some of my rookie year, like my last year in 2019. Will, that film was so grainy.
Huh.
We weren't HD yet.
So you're a 40 under 40 at the University of Tennessee this year. Yet at the beginning of your NFL career, your tape was in black and white.
It was grainy.
That's crazy.
It wasn't black and white. Let me take that back. It was colored, but it was pixelated bad.
Did they have it on the wheel and the ticker?
It was tape and CD.
Charlie Chaplin actually put together his first cut-up of practice film. Yeah.
My UT tape is from VHS and CDs.
Oh, that's awesome.
What's a VHS?
So serious. I wish you were joking.
I know
you are.
I am joking. Yes, I am joking.
But to your point about the silent tape, like Jayhawk mentioning that, do you know how much hell and anxiety the silent tape brings to you? Like, it's basically what he's saying is the eye in the sky don't lie. When we sit down in the team meeting rooms and we watch this tape, there is no TV copy. We're watching you each and every play on that silent tape, and we want it to be good. And I like that about Saleh. Like, he's hitting us with a lot of football cliches, but I play with a coach that had them as well. And as long as you find a group of guys that can believe in, hey, next man up. Hey, if we want a team of non-blinkers, cut your eyelids off. The standard is the standard.
Non-blinkers, I like that.
If you blink, cut your eyelids off. And guys were willing to.
I mean, he doesn't want to play violent.
No, I'm serious. Like, that type of stuff is cool, but when you got guys that believe in it, I remember when Coach Tomlin started saying the standard is the standard. Like, it was because we were going through a lot of injuries and stuff, and the next man up mentality, and we got a standard here. 2 dogs, 1 bone. Like, I could give you all of them, but you believe when you got guys that believe in your message.
615-737-1045. Your thoughts wide open for those on Robert Saleh and the new staff. Yesterday in Santa Clara, Roger Goodell said something that I strongly don't believe is true. And we'll hear that coming up next. So some cool news for Nashville this morning as we wrap up hour one. Ramon Foster, Will Boulding. The Olympics are coming to Nashville, Ramon. How about this from Nashville SC a few minutes ago? LA 28 and the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games has announced 6 additional venues across the United States that will hold matches for the 2028 Olympic football tournaments. Don't look at me. That's just what the Olympic Committee calls it. Soccer coming to Geodis Park.
I thought we was talking about
in
flag
2028
there for a second. I was like, okay.
I would have said flag football.
No, Will, don't do us like that. You know, here in America.
Olympic soccer coming to Nashville and Geodis Park in 2028 as a part of the Olympic Games. So gold medal match will be July 28th, 2028 in the Rose Bowl. Men's tournament July 29th, 2028 for the women's tournament. And the cities that were chosen for the Olympics in 2028 for soccer: New York City, Columbus, Ohio, St. Louis, San Jose, San Diego, Rose Bowl, and Nashville.
Nice. Nicely
awesome.
done, man.
So I thought I'd throw that in there real quick.
Didn't get one of the World Cups, but you did get the Olympics, man.
And I'm still bitter about that, but it's fine.
It's all good. Now, the question
Stadium
I have.
timeline did not line up with FIFA.
That makes sense.
Yep.
The question I have, who's got the weather situation for the Olympics in 2028? Because
it'll be hot everywhere.
But this Nashville humidity going to be treacherous, though, to go. Ohio gets bad, too, in the summertime. I don't think people
honestly,
realize that.
Everywhere in the end of July is hot. New York will be, too.
Yeah, New York will be hot as heck, too. Yeah, you got a point there.
So,
it's the humidity here that's crazy. But, yeah, I'm with you. I like that.
Love it. Good stuff. Yesterday, speaking of international things, Roger Goodell said something ridiculous. Did you see this?
He said a lot yesterday.
He did say a lot yesterday, including many things that made the rounds on social media that people were critical of. None bigger, though, than his comments on international games. It's from Diana Rossini.
I did see that.
Roger Goodell said he spoke to many players and discovered how much they enjoy playing international games because they feel like ambassadors. Ambassadors, Ramon.
Ambassadors.
Did you feel like an ambassador when you played in London?
Well, my team made me one because I had to go over earlier. But an ambassador, no, I felt like we were, more or less just exposing the world to the game. I felt that. I felt like it was a cool trip to go take to play a game internationally. But like as far as other players feeling like ambassadors to the league to expand American football out, nobody had that conversation, though, to be quite honest with you. No.
Guys that feel like are just kind of focused on playing the football game.
It gets to that point, and you want to experience the culture and stuff like that. Like mentioning that guys feel like ambassadors, like we're talking about like 53 guys that you're telling me all of them feel that way. You know who he probably talked to? A quarterback or a star player. Like those are the type of people that have those conversations. Me, I was trying to see the culture, see the city and all that type of stuff, and then focus in on the game because we got over there on a Thursday, and by the time you knew it, it was game time. So it wasn't much you could do as an ambassador while being over there other than play the game.
It feels like former players are kind of viewed more as ambassadors.
Yes.
In the way the Titans have had Keith Bullock and Javon Curse and I think Jarrell Casey go over there and do some things and be at pubs and like that I could get. But current players are not there to be ambassadors. They're there to play a football game.
Yeah.
And when you only get one of 17, like that, it's important. Like, I don't know. It feels like the NFL really, really tries to oversell the international thing to create more value for their 32 teams.
I'm trying to find something because if it was correct, it was Robert Kraft on international games. And he was speaking about the league was trying to, if this article was right, they're trying to push for 18 of them.
So, they want every team to play an international game every year. That is something that was said yesterday, saying that this year there will be 9 games because they did announce that yesterday also in his State of the NFL address. So Mexico City was added again.
Yep.
So Roger Goodell announced a Mexico City game in December is planned alongside 3 in London, 1 each in Paris, Madrid, Rio, Melbourne, and Munich. And the Saints are the team that we know for sure will be going into Paris. So you could have, if no one repeats, you could have 18 teams playing international games in 2026.
So, and that's where it is. It was, this was from January 20th, 2026. This year, Robert Kraft was on a radio show, and I might be reading the same thing that you just spoke of. But this is Robert Kraft speaking on the expansion of the league. One, what does 17 games mean to you, Will? If you look at that number.
Odd.
It's an odd number.
We're going to have 18. He's saying this out loud right now. One is because he's saying there's so much money being made. And this is the part where he says as well, too. So we're going to push like the Dickens down to make international exposure more important to us, Kraft said in the interview. Every team will go to 18 games and 2 exhibitions and eliminate one of the preseason games. Every team every year will play 1 game overseas. Part of it is so we can continue to grow the cap and keep our labor happy.
There you go.
Every team will get an overseas game.
Yeah, Goodell said it yesterday. Said
He did as
eventually,
well? Okay.
eventually all 32 teams will play 1 overseas game each season.
I like the game. I'll be quite honest with you. I enjoyed going to London. I enjoyed going with the Titans as a spectator, as an ambassador. I enjoyed it then, and I do think that exposure is good as long as, well, I can't say as long as it's not overexposed, but I don't believe in the idea that the Jags will be an overseas team, though. I will throw that in there. I just don't see that being real.
I don't. I think the players would put their foot down on that.
The logistics just can't
And when you
happen
say
that way.
overseas team, you mean like
Station.
the London Jaguars.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't see that either. Plus, they're building a new stadium for them in Jacksonville, so I think that ship's kind of sailed.
What's the
To the English channel.
What's the profit in that though? As well is what I would say, because you don't have, you don't have like these international soccer teams like trying to become the American version of it. Like you don't have.
You'd be
Tottenham.
surprised.
Is Tottenham trying to?
You'd be surprised. I mean, La Liga was going to play a game in Miami this past year, and enough fans, I think, revolted on it that they didn't.
Because
they were going to play a regular season game in Miami.
Why would they revolt on it? I'm confused on that one.
Because they want to see games in their own stadiums and then their own cities. Same way we don't like it here. I mean, Spain has a tournament that's played in, I believe, Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
Like the Spanish league in soccer.
Yeah.
It's all the same things. It's marketability and it's adding more revenue. And I think for the NFL, the ultimate goal is a full television rights package abroad and having the ability to sell worldwide television rights that are more profitable and more marketable for those cities because they've created more of a market for it.
Time zones
That's
kind
their
of mess
goal.
that up for the American crowd and their crowd. Right?
It is tougher going, exporting our sports to them because, and I've talked to people in soccer and who cover Major League Soccer who are British about this, who are football fans, who say, if you guys moved up your Super Bowl, more people in Europe would care about it. Now, that is not the ultimate priority on when the Super Bowl is played, but their point is, why should we invest in a full 18-week or with playoffs, 24-week season with preseason and playoffs, and then not get to see it out, not get to see the championship because it starts at 11 p.m. here and we got work the next morning.
Gotcha.
That's the struggle for them because they're 6 hours ahead of Central Time and 5 hours ahead of Eastern Time. 615-737-1045 is our number. Big press conference over at Bridgestone Arena yesterday. What Bill Haslam said about the Predators being open to a full rebuild as Barry Trotz announces his retirement. What we learned yesterday about the local professional hockey team coming up next. Hey, what's up? It's Will Bowling asking how your home's heating is performing. Hey, if it's struggling to keep up, I imagine you just found out over the last week or two. Temperatures down in the single digits will do that to you. If your power was on, maybe your heating system was struggling. If your power was off, then you learned what it was like again to have that heating system just obviously be providing nothing for you. Lee Company has you back, though, to make sure that does not happen again. Available 24/7, Lee Company's award-winning HVAC team will get the job done right. Whether it's repairs, tune-ups, to full system evaluations and replacements, Lee Company is here to keep you cozy and comfortable against winter's chill. Contact Lee Company online at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com from professional heating service for the folks with over 80 years of experience serving Middle Tennessee in this area. leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need.
7:01, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Main Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans, per multiple reports yesterday, are hiring Gus Bradley as their next defensive coordinator. Bradley worked this past season as the 49ers assistant head coach on defense and now follows new Titans head coach Robert Saleh to Tennessee. Bradley brings a lot of experience to the Titans as he had 4 stints as defensive coordinator with the Seahawks, Chargers, Raiders, and Colts. He also was the Jaguars head coach back in 2013 to 2016. Also, per Albert Breer yesterday, the Titans are hiring Marquand Manuel to coach the safeties for the Titans. Manuel worked with Saleh with the Jets back in 2021 to 2024 and was also on Brian Dable's staff with the Giants last season. In NFL news this morning, Patriots owner Robert Kraft, like his former head coach Bill Belichick, is not being voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2026. That full class will be announced this Thursday at NFL Honors. And last night, the Nashville Predators do it again with an epic comeback, scoring 5 unanswered goals to beat the St. Louis Blues 6-5 and win their second straight. Steven Stamkos scored twice in the third period, including the game winner with just under 10 minutes left to play. Ryan O'Reilly also scored twice on the night, and Roman Josi tallied 4 assists in the win. The Preds are now 3 points out of a playoff spot, and they're back at it tomorrow night to face the Minnesota Wild at Bridgestone Arena. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2 of the program getting started on Ramon and Will, 104.5 The Zone and 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, a streaming platform unrivaled in the world of sports talk radio, 104.5 The Zone TV. He is the 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Justin Hawkins makes the show happen. Coming up, we've got 5 fixes for the Titans roster. Prioritized 1 through 5 for our Foster 5 today. The biggest things that have got to happen to fix the roster. We'll do that coming up here at 7:20. Bill Haslam, Sean Henry, and Barry Trotz met with the media yesterday as Barry Trotz, Ramon, announced his retirement. Lots to get into there.
Yeah.
Kind of a newsy morning. There's a lot to react to because a few minutes ago, Robert Kraft, it was announced, is not going to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year. You surprised to see that?
I am surprised to see this, especially without Bill getting in. I thought, of course, Robert Kraft was a shoo-in if that's the case. If that was the case, look at me speculating and being completely wrong. Kraft's contributions, man. I mean, he's a guy that has Roger Goodell's ear. He has a team, man, that's been a part of a major, crazy, just eras and regimes and dynasties. I am questioning then if he's not in, what are the requirements for an owner to get in? Is it not just winning? Do you have to be a trendsetter? Do you have to be somebody that's, transcendent when it comes down to advancing the league? He seems to be a guy that's somewhat had that. I don't know if I'm going to bring this up, but does his legal issues have any dealings with this? Or
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but legitimately, asking the questions as to the why. He fits every bill. He fits, to me, the same bill as Jerry Jones. Why not so? He bought a team in which I didn't know much about, to be quite honest with you, in the 90s. And I know he bought it before then, but what were the New England Patriots without him? To hire the right coaches, bring in the right management. He's checked every box when it comes down to the accolades as an NFL owner.
Yeah, I mean, him and Bill Belichick led the Patriots to 6 Super Bowl titles, and neither one of them are headed to the Hall of Fame.
No.
I mean, the Patriots are currently tied with the Steelers for the most Super Bowls of any franchise, and a win this weekend would make them number 1. How does that owner not immediately get in? Well, Jerry Jones is. And again, this is where we come back to, Ramon. The process is so secretive and is so just closed door that I couldn't begin to tell you why he's not in.
Me either.
I don't understand it.
Before them, I couldn't tell you what a New England Patriots fan was. I know that he's in a position where he's benefited from both Bill Belichick and Tom Brady the same, but now here he is the second time around redoing it as again. If, to me, Jerry Jones is in, I personally can't see a reason why Robert Kraft isn't.
The Patriots' 10 Super Bowl appearances since Robert Kraft bought the team are the most for any owner in NFL history. Think about that.
I know.
The most Super Bowl appearances ever, just since he bought the team. He bought the team in 1994. Before that, the Patriots had won 225 games. Yeah. Since then, the Patriots have won 374 games.
The issue that I have with this type of stuff, as I said before, there's, as far as the players are concerned as well, Will, like there's a log jam of a lot of guys I think should be in, correct? Like we know this. We've had these type of conversations. This guy should be in. Are you surprised when you hear a name that's not in? And however they are going about this voting and what the requirements are, or if there's spite behind it, or allegedly this beef between Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft is real, that's just not how you do this. That creates a black eye to the process and to the hall, if you're asking me.
Well, and then, too, the people on the committee that are stumping for their guys, which is the process that has been agreed upon. Roger Craig, Ken Anderson, and L.C. Greenwood are the other three. If you are tasked with giving the presentation for one of those other three, obviously you are going to vote for that candidate. Like, are we voting for candidates because they're the right choice or because they're my city's choice? Yeah. Or are we voting for candidates because they've been waiting a while and you've got to wait in line? Are we taking a number and wait? Like, for me, Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick should jump to the front of the line. Mm-hmm. There should be no waiting process. You got to be patient for a certain amount of time. I think... But again, like we get to have our imaginations run amok about this because they're not open or transparent whatsoever about their process and what's actually said in those rooms.
I saw something yesterday where somebody didn't really release their vote, but they didn't put Belichick at the top of their list solely because of what you just said. They wanted somebody else to get in now because they knew Belichick was going to get in later. That makes zero sense. Two of the most monumental figures in football are Belichick and Brady. And if Brady's a first ballot Hall of Famer, then so should the other two.
Well, I will say it seems like with this with the three seniors that are going in, they're putting the players in before coaches and management.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bill Haslam, Sean Henry, and Barry Trotz spoke yesterday to the media, and there was a lot we learned about the next steps for the Nashville Predators and the decision that Barry Trotz made to retire. That was the first question we asked yesterday was this Barry Trotz's decision? Clearly, it was. According to Barry, according to Bill Haslam and Sean Henry yesterday speaking to the media, this was Bill Haslam on the next steps for the Nashville Predators as they look for a general manager and as Barry Trotz moves on.
A logical question is like, well, this is sort of an unusual way to do this. You're announcing a search that Barry's, going to be the general manager. And by the way, I want to make that point really clear. Barry is our general manager. He is going to be the general manager. He's in charge of the trade deadline. He is our general manager. I've been a mayor and a governor where everybody calls you a lame duck. I don't believe in that. Barry is our general manager. But you might say, so why are you doing this now? Well, two or three reasons. One, I just kind of want, whenever you can, you want to be as transparent as you can. And once you've made a decision, you need to go ahead and say that. The second thing is this. Barry's the unique kind of individual you can do this with. I have zero doubts, and I want to emphasize that he won't always do the right thing for the Predators. And anybody that knows Barry and wonders if he'll think, oh, I'm on the way out, I want to make it look good, I'll treat the trade deadline this way. That won't. Barry will always do what's right. I have 100% confidence in that. And I also think this. He's a person that doesn't have the kind of ego that's going to affect doing things right. Always do the right thing, and Barry will do that. So because Barry is that kind of person, because we want to be transparent. And then the third thing is that this is a process. We're going to be talking and looking. We're going to start a search. We're going to be looking at a lot of different people say, well, you can look at only existing general managers, assistant. We're going to look at a lot of different people. But as you know, the way it works in hockey, once the season ends, a lot of people go down to the fishing hole, as they say. I just assume be the guy with his line in the water first. And having Barry gives us the capacity to do that. So we are going to start a search. We've hired CAA to coordinate the search for us. We have a search committee that I will lead, but Barry and Sean and Michelle Kennedy, our president, will be on. We also will have couple of our other shareholders, Chris Sigaran, Chris's family's been involved with the Preds for a while, and then Nick Saban, our newest owner, who has a little familiarity with helping on winning organizations, has agreed to be on the search committee as well. But we are going to...
It's Bill Haslam speaking yesterday to the media. So a lot we learned there in a long answer, but this was Barry Trotz's decision. The Preds are open-minded about who's next. He went on to say he doesn't have a preference on in-house or out-of-house. They want the best candidate. And here we go.
It seems to me they're going to be very thorough about this with a lot of involvement. CAA leading the search as well. Barry Trotz, of course, he's saying he want to get Hawk. What was the line you said you liked? Putting their line in the water first.
Yeah.
That's that. But again, they got a lot of time to study this and be very assertive about what direction they want to go. The question that you have to ask moving forward is, if they're being this thorough with a GM hire, what happens to the rest of the setup that you have in house? If you're being this thorough, that means that guy is going to have a plan that may differ from your head coach. It might differ from your scouting department. Like, if this is how you feel about this process, there's a ton more of change that's probably coming with this.
Another question later in the press conference to owner Bill Haslam: are the Predators open to a full rebuild?
I'll answer that this way. The GM we hire is going to be responsible for deciding, here's what kind of hockey we want to play. Okay, and then their job is going to be to drive that all the way through the organization. I don't know enough to decide what kind of hockey we're going to play. And then that person is going to have to decide, do I like what we have? Can we build from here? Do we need to, to look at the assets we have? They need to make that decision. And we're going to hire somebody, again, that's strong enough to, A, determine direction, and then, B, when we decide on that direction, make sure we've vertically integrated it all the way from here to how we draft, to how we develop people, to how we're playing in Milwaukee, the whole deal. But that'll be something that they decide. We're obviously in a position right now, as Barry started out, like, hey, we'd love to throw out November. If so, we'd be right in you'd look at us as one of the best, 10 teams in the league. Unfortunately, they don't let you throw months away. But I like this team. I like how they're playing. And we have some great hockey players. I like the way they play together. Our fans, I think, are enjoying it. So to say that we're going to scrap all this and totally start over, I don't think is going to be the right approach.
Bill Haslam speaking yesterday.
It was very thorough.
We'll see. Some other comments in there I thought were interesting, and the idea that Barry Trotz has left the Preds in a better place, I think, is up for conversation. But it's going to be really interesting to see where they go next and the kind of general manager they hire, because they have a great opportunity to finally go outside the family for what is only, Ramon, the third general manager in the history of the Nashville Predators that's about to be hired.
Question is the GM they're hiring also a CAA client involved in this? I mean, does it matter if you can do a good job? It's just, to your point about the full rebuild, seems like there's going to be a lot that happens that there's going to be some other casualties that come behind this. Maybe not this offseason, but the next one, when the new GM finds what his vision of what the players he want to look like on the ice are.
Coming up, now that the coaching staff is largely set with some other additions that have got to be made, Ramon Foster's top 5 priorities and top things that have to be fixed on the Tennessee Titans roster after this. Beginning of February and the beginning of a brand new year is a time to purge, to clean, to start fresh, right? Well, why don't we treat our homes the way that we treat ourselves? Zerorez can take care of that for you. What's up? It's Will Bowling. In this time to clean and start fresh, make sure you get a lasting clean for your home, whether it's carpets, hardwood floors, you name it. Zerorez is going to come in and give you a smarter, lasting clean. That's because ZR Water's cleaning agents that Zerorez will use are much healthier than using soaps and detergents to clean. You're getting the very best clean for your home with no harsh chemicals, no soap residue, faster dry times, and things are going to stay cleaner longer. Get Zerorez technology working for you by booking online at ZerorezNashville.com. Zero-R-E-Z Nashville.com. You can call them at 615-535-9376. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. 615-535-9376. And don't forget to ask about their air duct cleaning. Ramona Will rolls on in hour number 2 on this Tuesday morning. Austin Price of Allquest on 3 coming up at 8:20. And Brady Gall of 440 Sports coming up in hour 4 at 9:20. Going to talk some Nashville Predators with us. Got a Foster 5 coming up for you on 5 fixes for the Titans roster, ranked in terms of priority, 1 through 5. But first, let's go to the phones. Garrett is in the borough next up. Hey, Garrett.
Morning, Garrett.
How y'all doing this morning?
We're
Great.
good, man.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear. Really just wanted an opinion from y'all because I know how I feel about it. But I wanted an opinion on how y'all felt about Eli Manning not being chosen to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Well, first of all, real quick, Garrett, since you do have an opinion, how do you feel about it?
I feel like he should have. I think he's a great quarterback, and I mean, there's arguments for all types of great players, but I can say he did beat Brady twice.
Yo.
And I feel like that's something that should go into it. But, I mean, I guess they always have other reasons for who they pick, but I just wanted to get y'all's opinion on it.
Did you expect him to be, real quick, did you expect him to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, or you weren't tripping on the first ballot?
I wasn't really tripping on the first ballot, but
Yeah.
But I really thought this year maybe, but I don't know.
Sure.
No doubt.
Thanks,
I feel
Garrett.
you.
Appreciate the call.
Feel you. Appreciate that.
What do you think?
Eli is a polarizing guy.
Very much so.
Because everybody's conversation about Eli starts with what Garrett said. He beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl.
Problem is he only made 4 Pro Bowls.
Yeah.
Back when the Pro Bowl kind of meant something in the year that he played in.
And the other side, like he's low 60% percentage on his completions, right? There was a lot of losing under his regime as well. And to your point about like, now, he was in a thick quarterback, talented era as well. He had his brother, Breeze, Brady, Roethlisberger, who didn't make an all-pro, Rivers.
Current Colts quarterback, Phillip Rivers.
I mean, yeah, seriously.
Brett Favre.
Donovan
McNabb.
I mean, he in a long line.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a single all-pro. He's only got 4 Pro Bowls. He's got 2 rings. Garrett, the issue that I feel like the Eli Manning is facing is the group of very good versus the great. Like, I think the NFL the Hall of Fame focuses on great more than just the group of really good.
Great in your era.
Yeah.
That's the struggle for Eli.
And Eli doesn't have that. And what I don't want to happen is the campaign for Eli make it all just about his Super Bowls.
Right.
Eli's not.
It's a team award.
It's a team award. And I don't think Eli is top 10 as far as passing yards in the league.
He's 11.
He's 11? Well, there we go.
So I just looked it up.
You just
In
looked-
terms of
yeah.
pass yards, pass completion percentage, and touchdowns, he's 11.
He's 11.
all time, and all 3.
The challenge with that is how many people in front of him played in his era.
The issue.
I mean, yeah,
you
you
got
just-
that in front of
Manning,
you.
Tom
just
Brady,
displayed it,
Drew
yeah.
Brees, like
feel him.
he only went to 4 Pro Bowls, and to be a Hall of Fame you are taking his stats out of the context of the era he played in, and you are laying them against players that were playing 20, 30, 40 years before who were superior quarterbacks in their era who played in a more run-first, run-heavy NFL.
I got you. You want to hear the list?
Hit me.
Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. Favre was on the back end of that. Favre is in there with him. Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, and then Dan Marino.
There you go. And there are plenty of quarterbacks not ahead of him on that list who are more deserving of Hall of Fame nods. Again, that challenge becomes how elite were you in your era? I do think he should be a Hall of Famer. I don't think he should be one yet. I think there are more pressing needs to that committee than Eli Manning in 2026. This is only year 2 of eligibility.
Yeah, I think Eli gets close to double digits on getting in.
Really?
Because I don't want, if we're making it this hard to get into the Hall of Fame, I don't think it's fair to say just because he is a quarterback and he's got 2 Super Bowls, I don't think that checks the box. He didn't even get Super Bowl MVP.
To me, though, it's not just that he has 2 Super Bowls. Look at the franchise that he beat in those Super Bowls.
I know, but
It's Brady and Bill.
That's one game.
Bill. I guess Bill. Robert Kraft isn't a Hall of Famer, neither is Bill Belichick, so that's not really impressive.
And I know the situation is what it is. And I know you're 100% correct on that one. The situation, the helmet catch is a part of it. Plexico making another catch. Like, how did he win it? Like, was it all Eli? Was it a bunch of, hope that and a running game behind it?
It's a topic we could spend the rest of the show on and keep saying the same thing. So, I mean,
did you say he did not win Super Bowl MVP?
He didn't get the MVP, did he?
He did both times.
He did both times?
Yeah, according to this NFL stat.
I mean, you're probably right. I'm on this page. Did he get MVP? Yeah, he did. My bad, Eli. I underestimated you like everybody else.
His record.
He did get it. That's on me.
If you care about wins and losses overall, his record was exactly 500. He was 117 and 117 as a starter in the NFL.
Is that a tip of the cap, though, too? Because managing that team, as they're still trying to manage it.
I think you've got to at least consider it if you're going to count the Super Bowl wins.
And here's the thing.
Because if wins matter, then so do the losses.
I really like Eli, too.
Do you think he does get in?
I think he eventually gets in.
Okay. Yeah.
He might be plus 5 years of getting in because you got Brady coming up, Breeze, Ben. I don't even know if Ben's going to be a first
Phillip Rivers'
ballot.
clock gets pushed back now.
Well, there we go.
May have saved him.
Well, there we go.
So the Foster Five this morning is fixing the Titans roster because the staff is set. Gus Bradley is going to be the defensive coordinator. We'll talk more about that in hour 3. Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll, obviously we know who is coaching the Titans roster. They've got a lot to sort out. They have a few players that they could bring back if they wanted to. They have some cut candidates. They have a lot of money to spend, more than anyone else in the NFL, according to Over the Cap and Spot Track, as we sit here today. And they have the number 4 overall pick and some pretty solid draft capital. I have tasked Ramon with ranking the top 5 fixes for the Titans roster. The 5 most important moves that the Tennessee Titans have to make this offseason now that they've made the most important one in hiring the head coach. Let's start at number 5, Ramon, on your 5th most important move and decision the Titans, in your mind, should make this offseason.
I'm going to give you my honorable mentions first, or should we do those last?
Let's do those last.
All right, we'll do those last. I have to write
Start with number
down.
5.
Number 5, cornerback help.
That's number 5?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, cornerback help. Figuring out where and how you're going to piece that secondary together and what are you going to be asking those guys to do. I think historically, Robert Saleh and also Gus Bradley have been covered 3 type of guys. How are those guys going to be in coverage? Will they understand? Will they be long and rangy? Can they, seek the football the way, if you think about to Gus Bradley, the Legion of Boom, that group, like how are you going to piece that secondary together, starting with the cornerbacks, because this team is very deficient in both sides of that of the field.
I'm not going to lie to you. I thought you might put that number 1.
I got a more important one because I don't know if there's a clear answer for that one so far.
Just considering how open the Titans depth chart is at corner.
Yep.
If you are living life without L'Jarius Sneed or Darrell Baker,
and
you're one, I know, but I'm just saying, again, just to make the argument, your one returning corner is Marcus Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Major question marks at corner. Major question marks.
The way I look at this top 5, how I got it situated, either one of them can be number 1. You let me know if I'm wrong on this one. I'll unveil the rest of it.
All right, let's hear the rest of it.
Finding the cornerback, I think, is number 5 on this list.
Yep.
Because I think the front 7 handles a good bit and can hide you for a little while.
Okay. 4th most important move for the Titans roster.
Right guard and center decisions. Do you stay in-house with Jackson Slater? Do you re-sign another veteran to a 1-year deal?
What would your decision be on that? How would you proceed?
I would sign a right guard. No. I would sign a center that to your liking. Considering Cush situation as well, you can probably go cheaper.
Lloyd Cushenberry started for the last 2 years, yeah.
And I would find a young guy at guard and bring him in at right tackle, or bring up Jackson Slater if you don't move J.C. Latham. See, the reason I got that one higher than this one because you already got some answers in house, and it's difficult to figure out what you're going to do with J.C. if you draft a tackle. If you're going to keep Lloyd Cushenberry, you're going to cut him. Do you also bring back a high dollar free agency at right guard? I think there's more money involved in these moves as opposed to a free agent corner.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, it's like the right guard center thing is a more challenging decision because it's so obvious you need cornerback help.
Yes.
Because you have decisions to make that are already on your team or in the draft or you can sign. Like you have more ways that you could address right guard / center. Therefore, it is a bigger decision to make.
And how do they feel about JC at right tackle? Do they bump him in and bring in a Morgan Moses type? You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot that goes into it. You can keep Cush, but like having to sit down with Mike Berganzi and saying, hey, how do you feel about Lloyd Cushenberry? Do you think he can get back? Is he the style of player that you like? Like there's a lot of that goes into it, especially with Robert Saleh and that maybe, Brian Dable offense that he can run.
I heard Ben Jones talking about this on Buck's show yesterday, Ramon, about the different responsibilities. Oh, nice.
That made me happy seeing him.
Different responsibilities for the center in a Brian Dable, Bill Belichick tree offensive system versus a Brian Callahan, McVay, Shanahan, West Coast wide zone system. Walk me through that, if you will, from your perspective on the difference between an offense where the center is making checks or the quarterback is making checks, because it sounds like that's about to change.
Yes. So the center making the checks is pretty much the quarterback understanding you go as we go, and he might not know exactly where his hots are. Is just the fact that he should know where they are, but he's
meaning
more protected. The quarterback. Yeah. He's more protected because those guys up front can say, no, we got him, you guys slide, and make sure that you know where your hot or where your spots are over here. We did more of a center call, Mike designation, and the quarterback would either trump us or veto what we had done and switch it. But it was on us up front to say, hey, Mike's 52, we're sliding here. It just takes some communication out of the quarterback's mouth and responsibility. It don't really change much because both are supposed to be cohesive in how they go about doing this. It's just a matter of who's controlling the spots in those moments.
Would it be easier then to justify starting a younger center if you felt like there was one in the draft that you loved, or if you liked Jackson Slater's ability but to potentially move inside, considering there is less pre-snap responsibility on the center?
Starting a younger center, to me, results to who's surrounding him. That's sure. And right guard is a question that we have right now. I'd much rather go a veteran guy to start off because Cam needs that presence himself and understanding what Brian Dable's offense is going to ask of him, especially if it's on the center, pointing and letting him know who the Mike points are and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd much rather go veteran first.
Do you have a center in mind when you say sign a center?
Do not.
Okay.
But I got a feeling Brian Dable may.
Probably.
Yeah.
Number 3 on your list for top 5 fixes for the Titans roster.
Tony Pollard or who? It doesn't hurt you to keep Tony Pollard. It does not hurt this team much at all. I think his cap hit is only about $6 million, not more than $8 million, if I'm not mistaken. He made it through the entire season, but is he the explosive, hard-nosed, every down running back that you need moving forward in this offense? And if you look at Brian Dable's offenses, they are heavy-hitting, rush type of guys, and that's where Tony Pollard, to me, I don't know how he's going to look. We were having a light conversation about it as far as is he a strong Robin, or do you trust him to be your Batman? And does it also keep Tajay Spears from producing? Do you need a Breece Hall? He's dealt with those type of guys before.
So Tony Pollard has an out in his contract this offseason that would save the Titans some money and would only carry a $2 million dead cap charge. If you released him before June the 1st or after June the 1st, it looks pretty similar. You would save $7.2 million against your salary cap. The beauty of this, Ramon, is that the Titans don't have to do this in order to save money and make another move. And that's where I think this becomes a little bit trickier, is that the Titans could also say Tony Pollard and you could bring in another running back or sign Kenneth Walker and keep Tony Pollard, and also then ask Tajay Spears to be more of a specialty receiving back. Obviously, you become a lot more predictable and say, all right, Tajay's out there. They're going to throw it to him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like the idea of a 3-headed monster that is more evenly divided among carries than a two-headed monster.
So, and again, like, you don't have to. That's why I think this is a hard decision to be made. Does Brian Dable like the running style of Tony Pollard? Can Tony Pollard continue to do this and, operate at a better clip? Like, some of the question that you can ask at the running back position with the lack of rushing yards is, was Tony saying the whole right? Why did it take you to Cleveland and really take off to that next level?
I think as a rule, and we've spoken about this over the offseason, Ramon, it's okay for the Titans to say yes and.
This is true.
It's okay for the Titans to want to upgrade their running back room and still have the leadership and approach and skill set of Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think this team at times has shot itself in the foot. They'll take one step forward and then they'll take that one step back. And they'll add a player, but then they'll also subtract a player to make that room pretty much essentially the same that it was. What you are looking to avoid is what Pittsburgh did at wide receiver last offseason.
Yes, sir.
When they traded George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys and then turned around and added DK Metcalf. Those two together, great. One subtracted, one added, essentially
evens you up.
Evens you out. You just feel like you may have a little bit better of a personality and work ethic in the room.
Exactly. Yes.
That's what I want to avoid this offseason because the Titans have the money to say yes, and we'll keep the guy we have. As long as that guy didn't force their way out and is willing to play a smaller role. But again, like, Tony Pollard's got a pretty dang good contract.
He does.
And I don't know if Tony Pollard in the open market is going to go get a $6.7 million base salary at this point in his career. I could be wrong, but if I'm Tony Pollard, I'm cool with playing out this contract, even if it means I'm 1B instead of 1A.
He's not 30 yet. He's got time.
He'll be 29 this year.
Yeah, he'll be 29 this year.
And to be fair, too, he's not had the full workload of a feature back over the course of an entire career. He maybe has more tread on the tires than someone that has been a feature back their whole career has, considering he was the 1B behind Ezekiel Elliott for years in Dallas.
No doubt about it. And again, with a better offensive line, maybe with a more cohesive offense, you get a better version of him as well. He's hard-nosed, and he's the type that you could like. It's a matter of, do you feel like, Will, you can upgrade this position? Like you say, yeah, and is the way you look at it.
The top two fixes for the Titans roster from Ramon Foster as we wrap up the Foster 5 coming up next. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Whether you're watching football or you're hanging out with any kind of group of people, you could be watching badminton for all I care. Make sure you are snacking the right way with Daisy French onion dip. This stuff is delicious. I've been talking about it for a while now. Daisy French onion dip and Daisy ranch dip taste homemade. Made with ingredients you can find in your own kitchen with no preservatives, with no artificial ingredients. I love dipping it with wings, a little bit of Cajun seasoning on there, pop them in the air fryer, dip them in the French onion dip or the ranch dip. You are going to love it. Use chips, use wings, use veggies, you name it. As long as you're dipping it in French onion dip made by Daisy, you're doing it right. Go check some out at a grocery store near you. Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%, lowest in years. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck at a 6% loan, you could lower your payment big time. Or you can keep your primary mortgage intact and get cash out of your equity with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards and some car loans and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now and see what option works best for you, but don't miss the big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous rapid equity loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks, and you may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal with no hard credit pull. Call 615-499-5780 now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Wrapping up the Foster 5 on Ramon and Will this morning. 615-737-1045.
I like it, how
I do work.
Hey, top 5.
This reminds me of college.
Hey.
Top 5, but we're not 5 and we're not 2.
And we're not 2, even though we're on 2 of my top 5.
Yes, we are.
You cooked with this one.
Hey.
I don't even know if he tried.
That's what I do.
We ask Ramon to rank things at a top 5 from time to time. And this morning we have Ramon's top 5 priorities of fixing the Titans roster. If you're just now joining us, number 5 was finding quarterback help.
Corner.
Yeah, cornerback help.
This did sound like you said quarter.
I said cool whip.
Why are you putting the H in?
Cool whip.
Why are you putting so much emphasis on
cool whip.
No, it's cool whip.
Cool whip.
Cool whip.
Number 4 was right guard / center decisions, signing a center and finding a young right guard.
Can let me pivot on that one? I saw somebody say JC's going to be fine. I believe JC's going to be fine as well. But what I'm saying as far as this decision, coaches will ask these questions. You just never know how teams see players that they scouted in the pre-draft versus when they get them. JC staying there is the same way I feel about Darnell Wright staying there right tackle as well. Like, you get it with more reps, and changing his position might not be the best thing for him, but you at least have to have that conversation. I think it's an important one when you're looking at the center over to the right tackle. How do you put the best 5 out there?
Sure.
Is why it's on my list.
So moving J.C. Latham to right guard is not on your top 5.
It's not definite, but I think a conversation will be had about that one.
Sure. Number 3 was Tony Pollard or who, and addressing the running back position for top priorities. You know how I feel. I want Breece Hall and think that he would be an excellent fit in this offense. So that leaves us the top 2 priorities for the offseason to fixing the roster. What is the second biggest thing you want the Titans to do, Ramon?
Decisions on L'Jarius Sneed and Calvin Ridley. Aging plus money plus production hadn't equated to what you needed it to be.
And you're cutting them, right?
More than likely, I'm cutting them.
Yeah.
You get money back on that one. You probably got to take a hit on one or two of them. You look at those signings, and you just kind of say to yourself, like, we tried, but this isn't the pathway moving forward for you. And those 2 guys right there with as heavy as checks as they have towards the cap, I think it's important for you to know as soon as possible what you're going to do with those 2 individuals. Calvin's got an ankle. L'Jarius just been riddled with injuries, or questions about his injuries. So
that one almost feels like so much of a slam dunk that I don't even know if it would have made my list.
Yeah.
Yet that does not minimize the importance of, again, the flexibility it brings you.
And maybe I should have switched corner help and decisions on those 2.
Yeah, sure.
But either way, I just viewed them as big items, and whenever it happens, I think it'll be a big conversation regardless.
If you're ranking the most significant things that are going to happen, then that's a significant amount of money that you can make available. Mm-hmm. Although it does kind of feel like a slam dunk.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
All right, what's the number 1 thing the Titans got to do to fix this roster?
I think this is the hardest one to do.
Okay.
Because how do you go about it? Do you use a draft pick? Do you go free agency? Do you try to build from within? And it's finding a wide receiver 1. Where do you pull him from? You can say free agency. You can say, well, George Pickens is available. The wide receiver out in Indianapolis is
Alec Pierce.
Alec Pierce is available. Jawan Jennings has been a part of this conversation, but he's not a 1. Do you use that draft pick at number 4 overall and you trust that somebody's a top 5 pick at 4? Do you trade back to get a number 1 wide receiver? But as far as somebody being a threat on the outside for this offense, I think that one, especially with a defensive head coach, you got to give them weapons offensively to operate as well. Like, I can say, go get Caleb Downs. Go get one of those edge rushers. But if defense is your specialty, I do expect you as a head coach, Robert Saleh, to find ways to hide your deficiencies while trying to also build up the offense. And I think finding a WR1 comes front of the line to me.
Would Alec Pierce qualify as a wide receiver 1 if he's available?
So the question we'll have to ask, is he a 1 here?
That's what I'm asking you.
Or is he like a 2 at other places? Because I think having that threat, like of a true number 1, matters. And Alec Pierce, I think, is going to end up being a playmaker. And maybe it's the sum of the means of all of them, and Alec Pierce being your go-to guy. I view him probably as a 1B. But here he'll end up being a 1A with what the role that he'll end up playing with, more attention and targets. And his pathway has been good there. His track record is good in Indianapolis already. But here's the other side. They also have to be okay with letting him go as well.
For me, it comes down to the perfect world of drafting Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon and signing Alec Pierce. I do think that we as fans look at wide receiver numbers differently than coaches and general managers do. I don't think that coaches look as much at wide receiver 1, 2, or 3, more so who's my deep threat, who's my go-to guy, who's my slot, who's my gadget, get me out of trouble on 3rd and 4 guy. I think they maybe look at it more in roles and responsibilities more so than priorities and statistics. Is that fair?
Yep, I agree with you. And that's why I'm saying, like, it might be the group, but there needs to be a threat more than just 2 rookies and some tight ends.
Right.
And so that's why I asked the question. Like, that's a rich pick at number 4 overall for one of those young guys. But then you also ask yourself, are you willing to pay, what's the numbers for a starting wide receiver? $30+ million a year for a starting wide receiver?
For a bona fide superstar, but how many of those guys are available?
George is the number 1 guy. George Pickens is the number 1 guy this cycle.
He is.
And
yeah,
that's where we start, I guess, the conversation.
And again, you have the off-field questions that come with him and his personality that I don't feel like this organization is super into.
Exactly.
Does that change now with a new coaching staff that might be more willing to coach a guy like that? I don't know. Maybe.
I've heard George has been a model citizen in Dallas.
Sounds like it. Yeah. George understands he's a pending free agent, too.
Mm-hmm. And also you have Robert Saleh that's dealt with Brandon Ayuk in his situation. The problem that it could be. Could he have handled it better, Robert Saleh directly as a head coach, and he chose to keep hands off of it?
Or was he involved at all?
Or was he
he's
involved?
A defensive coordinator.
Exactly.
Brandon Ayuk's a wide receiver.
But if you are going George Pickens, can you trust him? And will he also give you the production that you need at the number 1 wide receiver? Is he a threat? Watching him for the few years I saw him in Pittsburgh? Yes, absolutely.
615-737-1045. Our number. We'll get to your phone calls. Kendall and Brad are on deck. Plus, the headlines of the morning, the Titans hires they made yesterday, according to reports. And Robert Kraft, the decision on his Pro Football Hall of Fame candidacy this offseason as well, coming up next. Moving in Middle Tennessee is a big challenge. It can be tough if you've been forced into a move with a change in job. Maybe you just have always had that dream home and you want to go for it. But then comes the stress of selling your home. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Bernie Gallerani is going to help you with that. He is so authentic and just someone who's very real with you throughout the process. He's going to bring you peace of mind. And just meeting Bernie, working with him, you understand his heart for helping Middle Tennesseans right away when you get to know him. Bernie will guarantee to sell your home in 30 days or less. There's no risk to you. Bernie Gallerani will let you out of the contract at any time because he's the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee. So if you're forced to make that quick move, maybe you just don't want to pay 2 mortgages, you found another property you want to purchase, give Bernie Gallerani a call at 615-428-2644. He guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, and he's the only real estate agent in Nashville recommended by Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank. You can learn more online at BernieGallerani.com or call him at 615-428-2644. My favorite snack in my fridge around the house is Daisy French onion dip, and I've been consistent on this for a long time, guys. This stuff lives in my fridge because it's delicious and it tastes homemade. Bringing Daisy French onion dip or Daisy ranch dip to the watch party, watching football, means that your friends are going to think you brought something homemade. That's because Daisy French onion dip is made with ingredients that you can find in your own kitchen. There's no preservatives. There's no artificial ingredients. Just try it out. take it in a random bowl, the Tupperware, to your party this upcoming weekend and just watch how people will flock to this stuff. With chips, with wings, with veggies, it doesn't matter what you're dipping in it. It is going to be delicious. Check out Daisy Franchini Dip and Daisy Ranch Dip at a grocery store near you.
.802, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans made a couple hires yesterday on the defensive side of the ball, and Gus Bradley as their new defensive coordinator per multiple reports. Bradley worked this past season as the 49ers assistant head coach on defense, and he brings a lot of experience to the table for the Titans as he had 4 stints as a defensive coordinator with the Seahawks, Chargers, Raiders, and the Colts. He was also the Jaguars head coach back in 2013 to 2016. The Titans are also hiring Marquand Manuel as the safeties coach. Manuel was working with Saleh with the New York Jets from 2021 to 2024. He was also on Brian Dable's staff with the New York Giants last year. In NFL news this morning, Per multiple reports, Patriots owner Robert Kraft, like his former head coach Bill Belichick, is not going to be voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2026. That full class will be announced this Thursday at NFL Honors. And the Nashville Predators last night do it again with an epic comeback, scoring 5 unanswered goals between the second and third periods to beat the St. Louis Blues 6-5 and win their second straight. Steven Stamkos scored twice in the third period, including the game winner with under 10 minutes left to play. Ryan O'Reilly also scored twice, and Roman Josi tallied 4 assists in the Preds' win. The Preds are 3 points out of a playoff spot, and they're back at it tomorrow night to face the Minnesota Wild at Bridgestone Arena. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show and hour number 3 getting started on Ramon and Will. Glad you're with us. If you're streaming us, if you're listening on your FM radio dial, you've come to the right place. Austin Price will stop by in 15 minutes with the latest on Tennessee football, recruiting, and hoops. Wherever else Austin leads us after the glass breaks at 8:20. 615-737-1045. Going to catch up on your phone calls here in a matter of seconds. Ramon, Gus Bradley will be the Titans defensive coordinator, reported by NFL insiders Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and Mike Garafolo. Worked last season with 49ers staff and head coach Kyle Shanahan, DC Robert Saleh as assistant head coach on defense. The 59-year-old Bradley has been a defensive coordinator for 4 other teams, including Seattle in a very good era from 2009 to 2012, the Los Angeles Chargers from 2017 to 2020, the Raiders in 2021 under John Gruden, and the Indianapolis Colts from 2022 to 2024. Another former head coach on staff. What do you like about Gus Bradley's resume?
How his defense aligns with what Saleh is all about. Fast defensive linemen. I'm talking about penetrating guys, linebackers that have to be very athletic, like a Fred Warner. I think with Gus Bradley being a part of it, you'll end up seeing probably bigger corners or rangy guys, long arms, your Richard Sherman types, those type of guys that you want to see in the secondary to where they body you. This will be, in my personal opinion, especially with Gus Bradley being a part of it, a physical, big defense, man, that is going to play fast and becomes a headache. I told you I ended up playing against a solid defense in 2019, my last year, and all I can remember is that defense just didn't stop. Offensively, we couldn't really catch up. Is the way it felt playing against them. Like, they kept everything in front of them for the most part. You couldn't take the deep shots the way you needed them to. Now, we were playing with a backup at that time in Mason Rudolph, but legitimately, like, nothing got far away from that defense. And if it's Gus Bradley on the back end of it as well, you know, as far as Robert Saleh trying to hide his deficiencies, and that's a little bit in the secondary, then Gus Bradley helps assist in that. Because, again, if you want to go back and look at his history, he is, you know what I'm saying, one of the facilitators, I'm sure as many coaches, one of the many coaches that facilitated the Legion of Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
definitely a part of it.
Yeah, that's what you want to see here soon. Now, that also takes years of picking the right guys. If this staff can stay together, that defense will be a headache.
615-737-1045. How you jump in? Let's start with Kendall in Nashville to lead off hour 3. What's up, Kendall?
Morning, Kendall.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing?
We're good, man.
All right. So I was just kind of going in off of your 5 picks, Ramon. I think it may have been one of your honorable mentions. I'm not sure, but I think the Titans really need to get a veteran backup quarterback to be in that room with Cam. I think that's going to help him develop even more. But that's just something I think they need. That's pretty much all I got. I'll let y'all speak, man. Y'all have a blessed day.
Man, that's a great point right there, Kendall.
Couldn't agree more.
Oh, could not. Will, Nashville, you know where I'm headed. This could be your one opportunity to go get Jameis.
Let's go. Yes.
Let's eat some dubs.
You all laughed at me 2 years ago when I recommended this. I was mocked.
For what Jameis is as a teammate. Like,
finally.
Non-threatening to Cam.
Yes.
Supportive.
Yes.
The opposite of
Yes.
Cam as far as communication. He's happy. He understands the silver lining in every situation. And I think a talking head like him could – I don't know how it will work, but I know this. Every person I know that's run into Jameis Winston as a teammate have absolutely loved him and spoke about his contributions to the team.
All-time vibes guy.
All time.
Who could also come in and play quarterback for you and not be out of place if you need him to.
Absolutely.
Come on, Dable.
Commenter on YouTube says, Will Levis is that veteran.
Can we block whoever that was? Just go ahead and just end it right now. Will Levis is that. How many games? Nope, I'm not going to disparage him. He's a part of this team, but he's not your veteran.
He is right now.
Yeah, thank you, Hawk.
Go outside.
Speak for me on that one, okay? Well, outside, nerd.
Will Levis has played 21 games in his NFL career.
But
that's not the kind of veteran we're talking about.
No, we're not. Kendall, my honorable mentions were getting Jeff signed. Like, I took that off the list because that's going to happen. And also deciding on
signing Jeffrey Simmons to an extension.
Yeah. And the other one is, what are you doing with Peter Skoronski? Are you picking up the fifth-year option?
Yes.
Or are you going ahead and extending him out?
Yes.
Those two with a rookie quarterback are very easy to do.
Por qué no los dos?
So those are my honorable mentions, though, Kendall. But the quarterback I should have thought of, veteran.
So you're out on Will Levis being the Titans' backup quarterback in 2026.
He can be a part of the development. I'm not going to push Levis out because I do think he has some talent in him. I know he has some talent in him. I think looking back at the trajectory, the way Brian Callahan kind of pushed him out and wanted to go do more with his career, the deep shots and stuff like that, is unfair to him. It's too much too soon for him. The same way I felt about Cam, right? Will Levis had a lot of high praise coming out of the draft. It's a matter of how do you mold him, and I don't think Will Levis got much mold in here. This team has been very chaotic. In and out of the build. Well, not out of it. They ain't had no off-the-field stuff, but, it's been chaotic, man. It's hard to develop when you got this much change and losing and uncertainty of a head coach that's, first-time play caller. I give Will Levis a lot more grace than I probably have in years past.
Brad and Mount Juliet's up next. We're talking about Eli Manning's Hall of Fame candidacy earlier this morning. What's up, Brad?
Morning, Brad.
How we doing, gentlemen?
We're good. Appreciate you holding for us, man. Good morning.
You got it. Well, I started off with one topic. Now I got three others to comment.
Okay.
Bring them on in there.
With Jameis?
Yeah.
With Jameis, if nothing else, it would be entertaining. Whether it's good or not, I have no idea, but it would definitely be entertaining.
You know it. You know it.
The second thing, wide receiver one. If we're going to get a wide receiver one, what I consider a true wide receiver one means a 50-50 ball means me or nobody, not me or the DB. And there are very few of those type of wide receivers. And then with Eli Manning in a league that values championships over anything else, here is your list of two-time Super Bowl MVP. Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Patrick, and Eli Manning. That's it. I'll listen to y'all's comments off there.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, I'm with you. Two Super Bowl MVPs against Tom Brady are also you deserve a half an MVP for both of those.
Listen, if Joe Namath got in, it ain't a hard conversation against anybody.
Hey, I would be shocked if he doesn't get it eventually. He wouldn't have my vote yet.
Yeah,
Eli.
I roll with you there. Brady, I think, is 4 years out right now, if I'm not mistaken. So he'll have to wait till after Brady, probably.
Yep, that's right.
At least say he beat him there. He can at least say he beat him there.
Let's go to Major Keys in Virginia. Hello, Major Keys.
Good morning, fellas. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Great.
Good.
How are you?
Where's Minor at?
Minor, I just dropped both of the minors off at daycare.
See, you had an answer for me.
You picked it up perfectly.
See, the dad didn't leave me hanging on the dad joke right there. I appreciate that.
Exactly. Look, I want to call y'all the Raw Boys. Ramon and Will, I'm going to start calling y'all the Raw Boys every morning.
Okay. I can live with that. What you got? How we get there?
The Ramon and Will, just shortening it up, abbreviating.
Raw Boys. See, that was above my head, and you brought me back to it. Appreciate that, man. Major, what you got for us, though?
So real quick, man, I just wanted to talk about the top five thing and how you said some of the needs. I do agree with you. I wouldn't get Alec Pierce because I believe he's not a true wide receiver one. on anybody else's roster but ours, and I don't want us to settle anymore. So basically, I feel like that could be addressed by us trading for wide receiver one this offseason if possible. And I also feel like there's a couple of gems in the draft that may fall, like Chris Bell. I love Chris Bell. My man A.J. Brown so much, man. But if he hadn't, towards ACL, he probably would have went a little bit higher. But since he's fallen, I would love for us to get him later. And then as far as running backs, I would love to keep Tony Pollard. But there are some guys, too, again, that might fall or go later, like Singleton with Penn State. I feel like he could be an underrated dog. And that could be somebody that can, develop under 20P for this last year and then take over next year. So that's all I got, fellas. I appreciate y'all taking my call.
Appreciate you, Major.
Thank you, Major Keys. Appreciate it.
I guess the biggest part in it, though, too, is how much do you want in year one? How much expectation is going to be left up to the fans from what Robert Saleh has said? Like, I think when you get a bunch of new, you also want to make sure, like, you also want to furnish the house and make sure the walls are painted, put wallpaper up and do an outside patio and everything else that's involved. Like, the thing I think that this team would be smart on is pacing yourself this time around to go to a build-up. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of pressure, I think, added to these new coaches in their expectation, considering, again, we'll walk down this pathway slowly. Vrabel made it back in year one as a head coach. That's so unreal. It's so a tip of the cap to him. You got Mike McDonald in Seattle making it in year two. I'm with Robert Saleh on this one. Bring it back and temper the expectation about what you're asking him to do, because there's a lot to be fixed here as opposed to what they had going on. Like that team that Mike McDonald took on was 9-6, 9-7. 9-8, whatever it was in the regular season. Like, they weren't bad is what I'm getting at. They weren't terrible. Vrabel and the pathway that the Patriots and the pathway that they've taken this year is the way the scheduling was set up.
Partly, yeah, for sure. Seahawks went from 9-8 in the final year of Pete Carroll in 2023 to 10-7 in year one of Mike McDonald in 2024, and now obviously are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. And to me, I think you are signing and drafting receivers that may, in the short term, have opposite roles of what they'd be long term.
Right.
If Alec Pierce is signed and a receiver is drafted, on day one, Alec Pierce may be wide receiver one with your drafted wide receiver being wide receiver two, with the expectation that in 27 and beyond, those roles might flip. And a player, as they learn how to be an NFL wide receiver, takes over the number one role, and then Alec Pierce can become more of wide receiver two. I don't think there is a receiver out there, Ramon, other than George Pickens, who is going to walk in here and be a long-term, bona fide number one the whole time they're here. That's available for the Titans to add. The challenge is, though, that also depends on Cam Ward. Because before Stephon Diggs got to New England and played with Drake May, we would have thought Stephon Diggs was a likely wide receiver too. But he gets with the right quarterback, and all of a sudden, Stephon Diggs is putting up wide receiver one numbers again. So to me, it's less about who you bring in to elevate Cam Ward and more about Cam Ward being the number one overall pick and his role in making whoever he's given better and look like more of a number one wide receiver.
I'll put a scenario in front of you real quick. Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka. One growing into it. Emeka Egbuka eventually is going to be the number one.
Meaning you're trying to recreate that.
Yeah. I'm trying to recreate
you're trying to get
that.
those guys.
Yeah, no. That's the scenario you want, to your point.
Absolutely.
Having a veteran and then having a young guy, whenever you get him, take that next step.
Yep. Totally agree. Austin Price of AllQuest joins us coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. That is the website for you. You need to use it if you're feeling a little bit under the weather. I know those coughs, those sneezes, that unwell feeling is probably taking over a lot of you, just choosing not to go to the doctor. Well, I'm here to tell you the doctor will come to you. They're available 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Same-day appointments are available to you or next day guarantee, however you want to do it. I'm talking from everything from primary health care to urgent care to IV therapy, and also medical weight loss is included as well. Thing about Medical House Calls is this. They understand your life is busy. Work sometimes just won't let you off, or the kid's schedule doesn't allow you to go and see the doctor as often or as much as you need to. Well, Medical House Calls is removing all of those issues. Like I said, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., so that's even after work hours. They will come to your house and assess what you have going on, give you a full exam if you need as well. They can give you a treatment plan. They'll also write you prescriptions if you need it, all within the comfort of your house. So to learn more about them or to book with them just as I did, go to medicalhousecalls.com.
Lots to discuss on Rocky Top as Joey Aguilar petitions for another year to play football for Tennessee. We got some big-time 2027 recruits in state considering the Vols, and, of course, Tennessee Hoops, who are back in action tonight against Ole Miss. Joining us to discuss that and more is our good friend Austin Price of All Quested on 3, who you hear every Tuesday at 8:20 with the Glass Breaks. Austin, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you all?
We're good.
We're good. With the updates to the Joey Aguilar case, Austin, and removing himself from the Pavia suit, and now the new details that we have of filing a lawsuit against the NCAA in Knox County Chancery Court. Austin, is there any more optimism about Joey Aguilar's new case against the NCAA versus the old one?
I mean, I don't think that he's filing it in Knox County, Tennessee court if there's not some optimism, right? Somebody texted me this morning. They're like, he's going to get it, isn't he? And I said, I certainly think that doing it in Knox County positions himself to get a favorable ruling out of this. Now, how much does the NCAA fight back? How much does the NCAA appeal? All those things, I think, are to be determined. But, yeah, I mean, I would venture to say there's a pretty good chance he gets favorable news out of this. But it's the court system, Will, and anytime you involve judges and the court and all that, trying to pretend that you know ends up being wrong a lot of times. So, again, one would imagine that because it's in Knox County, Tennessee, and there'll be a local judge, it would be very similar to what we just saw at Alabama. Now, that was a little bit of a different deal because they were, just trying to get the 10-day TRO. This is trying to get a full year of eligibility back. But either way, one would imagine that he would get at least a favorable ruling on the front end. Now, the question is how long does it last? How much does the NCAA fight back? And so on and so forth.
So, Austin, let's say Joey does win this case with his attorney, Cam Norris, and the suit that was filed in Knox County on Friday. Is it a guarantee and a slam dunk that Joey Aguilar is Tennessee's starting quarterback in the fall if he does win this?
I would venture to say that he'll be the starting quarterback at Tennessee in the fall if he were to win another year of eligibility, yes. So instead of there being a big quarterback competition between George and Faison will be battling it out to be who the backup is behind Joey Aguilar heading into the 2026 season if Joey's allowed to get eligible. Now, here's the deal. Again, even if he got a favorable ruling on the front end and the NCAA decided to fight it, that's where it gets tricky because, you could find out, several months from now that, sorry, that the appeal was overturned, such and such, and all of a sudden it's back to the two-man race. So everybody has to continue to compete and battle and try to improve, especially if you're one of those younger guys.
Austin Price with us this morning of All Question on 3. Austin, so are there steps right now being made, like he's enrolled in online classes and stuff like that, as far as this ruling being soon and he can go to spring practice? I guess that's a interesting, situation that he's in right now.
Yeah, again, he's in the rehab process coming off of having the tumor removed. And once he's cleared, then sure, yes, he would be eligible to return. The question is when does he get cleared? That'd be the biggest question. But I don't think, for Joey, sure, you'd love to have spring. He didn't have spring this past year, and he did pretty well. Now, one would argue he needs the spring to continue to build on what he did last year in such a short amount of time. But you could also make the case that just in case, it's not a bad thing to have George and Faison getting a lot of the reps of the spring, and Joey being more of a mental coach, a mental, veteran leader on the team in spring practice. Either way, yes, he's still around. He's rehabbing and trying to get healthy for his return to college football or his turn to the NFL, either one.
No doubt about it. What's the next steps in the process for David Gabriel George? Is any movement there? As Georgia just got, I think, the number one running back in the class of 2027. I know DGG is also in that conversation as well, as he's top 3.
Yeah, rankings are all subjective, right? And who's number one now and who's number one a year from now? can be two totally different things. And that doesn't mean that the guy that's number one now and not a year from now isn't still number one, or vice versa. So right now, that's been a two-team race. As somebody said on Walkwest yesterday, like, well, Georgia's out on DGG. And I said, they were never in on DGG. Mm-hmm. He went on a visit or so down there. Like, it was never a thing. Like, it's been Tennessee and Ohio State. It remains Tennessee and Ohio State. I'd be shocked if it ends up being anything else but Tennessee or Ohio State for David Gabriel Georges.
Austin Price of Allquest at On 3, our guest. That recruitment, Austin, feels as high profile as it's been for an in-state prospect. I know there have been some other good ones, Austin, but having watched him in Chattanooga, I know you've spent time around him and watched him. Can you just put in perspective, if you will, just how good this kid is? Maybe if people are new to him, and how big of a recruitment this is to have someone right down the road be such a legit running back prospect.
Yeah, obviously he's a Canadian kid who transferred in to the Baylor School in Chattanooga, and he's fantastic. Super sweet kid, very much explosive, dynamic, all the adjectives you can throw at him. I mean, he is a special player, and does it on limited number of carries. Right? I mean, he's not like he's getting the ball a million times down there because they have other good players around him at Baylor. So. And one would venture to say they'll end up with even more good players around him probably next year. So that's just kind of the nature of the beast. But he's very much a special player.
Well, Austin, a couple more prospects that I know are high on Tennessee's list who are local, who played against David Gabriel Georges in that big downpour D2 AAA state championship game. The local duo of Kenny Simon and Keyshawn Bowman here locally at Brentwood Academy. Where does Tennessee stand with those two prospects? One of them a legacy and one of them one of the top receivers on their board.
Now, didn't you call that state title game, Will?
I did not. I did the Jared Curtis Bowl in D2 single A.
Okay, that's good.
I was on the field freezing and cold and rainy, but I was not calling that one.
Okay, just making sure. I mean, we know you couldn't be impartial. Your love for the Brentwood Academy.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
Kenny Simon visited Alabama this past weekend. His trip to A&M the week before got canceled due to the snows ice event. He went to Tennessee the week before that. Down to kind of four, Ole Miss being the fourth out of those four. Going to take visits when things open up again in March, and then we'll see where things go from there. That one felt like it was probably going to end sooner rather than later. And I don't mean like next week or anything, but I thought probably by end of February he'd be off the board. But now with him not being able to go to Ole Miss and not being able to go to A&M, I expect him to go visit those schools coming up in the month of March, and probably, Tennessee and Alabama will try to get him down there for spring practice as well. This feels like Tennessee and Alabama are pacing right now with the top two teams. Obviously, his dad played here, but this is one where I know Tennessee would love to come out on top in this one and wants to make sure and keep this legacy home.
No doubt about it. Austin, switching over to the basketball, man, what was one of the biggest positives coming out of that Auburn win this past weekend?
A win.
Good place to start.
When you kind of put yourself in this weird spot, where you were treading water early in SEC play, Ramon, you needed to continue the momentum. You got those two wins on the road, and to be able to get the win against Auburn at home and kind of start to turn things. Where now you're 5-3. Tonight you're playing Ole Miss over at Food City Center, another home game before you go back on the road Saturday at Kentucky. I thought to get 3 in a row, 4 out of 5, really could easily have been 5 out of 5. A very big deal for Rick Barnes and company. And they learned to, play without Jacoby Gillespie, which really answers your question more than anything. They at one point in the second half had 4 freshmen and Jalen Carey on the floor. And it just speaks to kind of the growth of some of these young players. It speaks to their ability to adapt. It speaks to Nate Ament. And his ability to be the alpha, especially when Gillespie is not on the floor. But even when Gillespie is on the floor, he started to find himself, find his game, find his footing, find traction as being the guy. And that certainly, to me, was evident on Saturday night.
Is that kind of what we need to see tonight as well? Looking at this Ole Miss matchup, just more of the same, like these young guys stepping up and evolving in their roles and as Rick Barnes also said, don't look like you're betting on games turning the ball over.
Yeah, it's probably not the best joke he's put out there.
I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, even if it's true, it's one of those things like, geez. It's some things that come out. It's like some things that come out of my mouth. I'm like, it's factual, but probably should have been said.
Right.
And so listen, I think that's probably the best thing going for Rick is he has teachable moments. You've won 4 out of 5. You won 3 in a row, and every step of the way, you're like, man, we can be better. Like this team's still not found, its kind of zenith, so to speak, and. No Akpara the other night. Gillespie gets in foul trouble. Gillespie's had these untimely turnovers. He did it the other night. He did it against Kentucky, obviously, at the end. They have to play smarter winning basketball at the end of games. It's just like J.P. Estrella going back up at Alabama and shooting that shot when he should have kicked it back out and ran more time off the clock. All those things, you just have to be smarter. And I think that being able to do that is going to help this team even more over the next, several weeks.
Austin Price of AllQuest on 3, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will. Austin, as you look at the halfway point of SEC play coming up tonight, where do you think this team has grown the most and made strides since that first game at Arkansas to this point through the Auburn win?
Nate Ament, I think it's hard to quantify his growth. I mean, you see it every night. And even on nights like the other night when he was like 4 of 16 shooting or whatever, I mean, he's still able to get to the foul line and change and alter the game that way. He has a big timely block the other night. The more he asserts himself as the alpha to pair with Gillespie, the more Tennessee really starts to ascend as a basketball team. And we said it from the jump. I said it for the last month and a half. I don't care what they did in mid-December. I don't care what they did in mid-January. Talk to me the 1st of February. Where are they at? And they certainly seem to be tracking in the right direction for a schedule that should, on the whole, get easier as we go through February compared to early January. So, again, to be sitting here at 5-3, if you win tonight, you're 6-3. If you can somehow flip the script against Kentucky and be 7-3 coming out of the weekend, things start to get easier. Now, there's a lot of solid teams in this league, so you can easily drop one on the road, but the schedule statistically is easier the back half than it was the front half. So Tennessee's got to continue to see Nate Ament, Amari Evans, some of those younger players continue to build on it. They need to get Akpara back, and then you got to stay healthy. I mean, Akpara's out right now. J.P. Estrella's been injury-prone. Like, you have to stay healthy in the post, right? Because right now you're able to kind of supplement, with Nate Ament's size, him playing down low and giving you 2 big bodies on the floor at all times. But at the same time, like you'd still like to be able to go even bigger like you have done early in the year.
And Austin, to that point, too, when Tennessee does go to Kentucky this weekend, it just feels like there's something about this system and something about what Mark Pope runs that causes breakdowns for Tennessee that you don't see against anyone else. What do you think has to change this weekend to flip the script against them? And what do you think Rick Barnes will be focused on as they get ready for that one?
Just doing what you did in the first half against Kentucky and Knoxville and making it a 40-minute deal, not allowing Kentucky to win on the boards. Tennessee's been so dominant on the boards. Kentucky's trying to play bully ball to a degree a little bit, and, don't let them do that. Be physical on the road, drag this thing deep into the game, and see if you can still win it rough.
Love it. Austin Price,
no doubt,
with us here this morning at Austin Priceless on Twitter. The latest on all fronts of Tennessee athletics at VolQuest.com, as always.
Hey, Austin, I know Waste Management is this upcoming week, Thursday through Sunday, man. Did the Vols invest in it big time again this week with trash cans on the football field, too, as they throw up working out?
They're slowly adjusting to Derek Owings and his all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
Off season.
Different kind of waste management going on in Knoxville, Tennessee, under the new strength program. Austin Price joins us Tuesdays at 8:20. I will talk to you next week, Austin.
Appreciate
Thanks so
it,
much.
Austin.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right. Austin Price with us here.
Different type of waste management.
I love that golf is so much on the forefront of your mind.
It is. You want to hear what's crazy about the waste management, though, too?
What's that?
I trained hard. Well, I never threw up.
Like working out?
Yeah. I think
From like in an NFL or college or just
all
ever?
of it.
Wow.
Like never
impressive.
had from like a workout, and I pushed it.
That's really impressive.
I pushed it. Like I did everything and more. And I'm like, I used to look at dudes throwing up like that's weak.
Man, it feels like that is a constant among so many sports that can't you think of the one teammate you had who would just always throw up?
Always throw up.
I'm thinking of one in my head right now from high school that every single time would throw up. It's like, dude, like, it's not that deep.
The group that threw up with us was the drunk guys. Like, it was the Thirsty Thursday guys.
Okay.
Like, dude, you know we got mat drills on Friday. Why y'all out drinking right now? Like,
I'm honestly with you. I always found a way to not throw up after workouts.
All three of us. Look at us.
You didn't.
Superior athletes.
Vomit free since 93.
I couldn't do it. Like, last time I threw it was at my bachelor party. Like, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, no, I got sick. I got sick. You remember I got sick that day at work, and I could not come in. Yes.
Halloween of 2025.
That's the last time you threw up?
Yes.
Alcohol involved?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
Sounds like there's a story there.
Yeah, I got sick. Like, I've never, like, puked on the field.
I never did either.
I came close several times, but I was very, like, well conditioned. I was a big runner for soccer. Like, I ran a lot of, did some marathons. Yeah.
Beep test never got you?
Oh, I loved the beep test.
You loved the beep test?
I was so good at it. When I made it to college, I was number one.
How's bragging camp?
It's fantastic. You want to join?
The beep test, Ramon, is
I don't know this one.
Soccer players do it as fitness tests at the beginning of their camps at all levels.
It's really tough.
You described it. You've done it.
Yeah, so like it's basically, I think it's like 10 to 15 yards, one of the two, and you have this timed beep that you have to make it there and back by the beep.
Yeah.
And every time it gets faster and faster and faster. And then if you don't make it by the beep, then you're eliminated. And the last one standing wins the beep test.
How long is it? It's like what?
I don't.
15 minutes? 20 minutes?
It goes along until you can't do it anymore. Really, I can't remember how long. This is back in 2013, so that's the last time I did.
It's like scarring for soccer players.
Oh my goodness,
man! I was so good at it though.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Whether that's impressive or not, but running was kind of my thing.
See. My sport is everyone else's punishment.
You brought somebody else out. Somebody said PE teachers here kids love the pacer/beep test.
Yeah, it's called the pacer test a lot for school kids. Yeah.
I never knew of this one.
Yep. Coming up, how about another mock draft, shall we?
Let's do it.
ESPN's Matt Miller with first and second round picks for the Tennessee Titans. We'll tell you who he's got the Titans taking coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Jewel Roofing and Exteriors. Good people, I'm here to tell you this is a company that you can trust and rely on currently, because I know a lot of snow and ice is probably melting from your rooftops, man, and those ice jams are probably being backed up and you got a little bit of leakage or some issues that you didn't know would show up because we don't like snow or specifically ice here. Well, what I will tell you is this, man. Jewel Roofing has been serving communities from Clarksville to Murfreesboro for over 25 years. The owner, Robbie Van Norman, is a super cool guy, man. He's local. He lives right here in our community. They're also local, licensed, and experienced, and not just some out-of-town crews just trying to have you file your insurance so that you can just pay them. That's not the case with them, man. They thrive on referrals. That's me to you. That's your neighbors telling you about them. They want to provide a clear, honest estimate with no surprise fees, and they never use those high-pressure sales tactics or scare tactics. They use transparency, integrity, and guidance that you can trust. Listen, for a local company that you need working on your roof, you need to go to jewelroofing.com, or you can call them at 615-868-9999. As I said, Jewel Roofing with 2 L's.com.
Wrapping up hour 3 this morning on Ramon and Will. More to come in hour 4. We'll give you the details on Joey Aguilar's lawsuit against the NCAA and what it could mean for the other quarterbacks already on the roster in Knoxville. 615-737-1045. Brayton Gall of 440 Sports going to stop by to talk some Nashville Predators at 9:20. Matt Miller, Ramon, has a mock draft with 2 rounds in February.
Yeah.
Because why not? Draft season starts the second the regular season ends, and it's been over for a minute.
He locked in.
2026 mock draft, round 1, pick 4, Reuben Bain Jr. He has the Titans selecting. Edge rusher out of Miami at 6'3", 275 pounds. He says he has the power to stay on the field regardless of down or distance. With 9.5 sacks and an incredible 71 pressures last season, Bain showed the necessary determination to complement his athletic traits and be great on the edge. His shorter arm length might worry teams, Matt Miller says, but Bain's motor and speed to power skills make him worthy of being one of the top picks in the draft. Says that defense is the smartest bet in this draft, Matt Miller writes. And after finishing in the middle of the pack with 42 sacks this season, the Titans hired defensive-minded Robert Saleh and will likely use a base 4-3 defense where 3 down defensive ends are needed. You like the fit?
I like the player. The fit is something I think that's going to be questionable. Like I said, the arm situations, it can be a problem. It's a matter of how he minimizes those issues. Like, does he become a one-arm stab guy? Meaning some guys go in and attack with 2 hands like you're holding onto a steering wheel. Some guys turn their shoulders and extend themselves with one arm to put their hand into your chest, so that they, take away the conversation of them having short arms. Like, the thing that Bain is going to have to isolate his mind from is this conversation. If he goes out and perform well, his tape is hot, as we already know, and he stays injury-free in this process leading up to the draft, I do think he's a top 10 player. Now, does he fit this offense? Here's what we can tell on paper about Robert Saleh's offense. He likes long, rangy guys. The long-range component of Reuben Bain Jr. is taken out of it. Now, if you're asking yourself if him moving to a 3 technique or if he's just setting the edge, what I know being a former tackle is this. If I did have a short-arm guy, there can be problems that arise from that or that lack of length of being able to set the edge or just lock a guy out. If you lock me out and I got 34-inch arms and you sitting at 30, it's like I'm holding on to the back of your shoulder pads essentially at that point. You can't get away. You can't break away. Like, there are shorter guys that play edge. Elvis Dumerville, James Harrison. There's a lot of guys, Aaron Donald, but you look at their arms. The arms alone, that's where they make up those deficiencies when it comes down to the height part of it. Teams will go with a 6-foot rusher if he's got 6'6" arms. Like, it does play a part because this league is all about the minute parts of it. Here's what I said about Reuben Bain Jr. a month or so ago. He can ball.
Certainly.
Where is he on the list of your ball players?
Can he ball as a 4-3 end, or does he have to move inside to be almost a Kalijah Cansey? And I say this comparison not to say that he's this player, but to say that he's closer in profile of this player, but to be almost an Aaron Donald interior pass rusher. Do you think you've got to kick him inside, or can he survive at defensive end with 30 3/4 inch arms?
I think he can survive. It's a matter of how much will he thrive in those positions.
Exactly.
That's top 5. The conversation I've heard about the top 10 is this. Those guys need to be walking off the bus as starters, potential Pro Bowlers.
100%.
And that's the issue.
100%.
Like, I'm looking at it. Mayor Ron, please don't do that in the YouTube chat. Most pressures in the NFL was Myles Garrett at 53. Bain has 71. Stop.
Oh, no, you can't compare.
Stop.
You can't compare
We're
that.
talking about 19-year-olds blocking Reuben Bain Jr. We're talking about all pros and 3 and 4 people at a time blocking Myles Garrett. Kick that little stat out. I hate numbers like that. Not you, Mayor Ron, okay? The numbers justification of what you like, let's remove that. And that's why I put at the end of my conversation, if you believe Reuben Bain can ball for you, take him.
Yeah, edge rusher is just such a position where production matters less than the athletic traits and the intangibles. Not every position is created equally. And your ability to produce and have stats and have pressures is so different because the kind of linemen you are matched up with are so different.
Yeah.
Athletic ability is translatable if you are put in a simple enough scheme. And there are pressures that perhaps become sacks when you have also a better running mate on the opposite side than maybe you had in college. The best example of that is Derek Barnett and Myles Garrett. Those two guys came out of the same draft class in 2018 out of Tennessee and Texas A&M. And Tennessee fans at the time loved to spike the football that Derek Barnett's going to be just as good as Myles Garrett as a pro because he's got just many, if not more, sacks in some of these seasons. And he's the all-time career sack leader at Tennessee. And while he had an incredible career at Tennessee in terms of production, the athletic traits and the ability of Myles Garrett and the length and the built-in-a-lab pass rusher that he is allowed him to have a much higher ceiling at the next level because he is built to withstand the step up in athleticism of the type of tackles that you're going up against. Derek Barnett was less suited to do that. And Derek still, to be fair, has had a good NFL career. He's just not Myles Garrett.
Right. Both of them are very successful, right? And that's where you're looking at, do you pass on Reuben Bain and go get Keldrick Falk? Why? Because he's 6'6", edge setter, the way his defenses look. Or do you go after, who's the other defensive end from Texas Tech? Golly,
David Bailey.
David Bailey, yes.
That's my preference, is David Bailey. Second round pick that Matt Miller has is really interesting, and I think we can get back into this more tomorrow because we're running out of time here. He's got the Titans taking Caden Proctor, tackle out of Alabama, with his second round pick, saying the Titans have one supersized tackle from Alabama in J.C. Latham, so let's give them another. Proctor's tape at the end of the season was much better than at the beginning, and he has immense potential as a starting left tackle. My question to you is this, Ramon, and we'll give more into the details of the why on this tomorrow. Can the Titans afford to take a backup tackle right now with a second-round pick with the amount of needs that they have?
You want me to answer now or tomorrow?
Give me the short answer now, and we'll get the justification tomorrow.
Yeah, they can afford to.
Agreed. If you believe Caden Proctor is a future franchise left tackle, it's really okay to draft him and still start Dan Moore, at least for the beginning of the season this year. That is where we talk about Chad Brinker's message before they hired Mike Borgonzi and when he took over as in his time as president of football operations. His message of patience over panic and first downs, not touchdowns. There is no better example than following how you draft tackles in this league. It is better to draft a tackle before you need one and not reach than it is to have one, plug them in, and sacrifice your starting quarterback's blind side in the process as they learn how to play NFL football. Taylor Lewan is the still best left tackle the Titans had in quite some time. When they drafted him, there was a guy by the name of Michael Roos who was right in front of him. And a lot of us scratched our heads and said, huh?
Why?
We quickly found out why. And that was a first-round pick. This would be a second-round pick. Interesting. 615-737-1045. Matt Nagy just got an offensive coordinator job. We'll tell you where, plus the details of Joey Aguilar's lawsuit against the NCAA after this.
9:03, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The Tennessee Titans made a couple hires yesterday on the defensive side of the ball, and Gus Bradley as their new defensive coordinator under head coach Robert Saleh, and also they're bringing in Marquand Manuel to coach the safeties. NFL news this morning, John Harbaugh now has his new offensive coordinator in New York as the Giants are hiring former Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy to be their OC. He takes on the task of developing young quarterback Jackson Dart. Also, Patriots owner Robert Kraft joins his former head coach in Bill Belichick and is not being voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2026. That full class will be announced on Thursday at the NFL Honors. And the Nashville Predators last night erased a 4-goal deficit to beat the St. Louis Blues 6-5. It marks the Predators' 17th comeback win and 4th 4-goal comeback just this season. Steven Stamkos scored twice in the third period, including the game winner, which was his 100th game-winning goal of his career. The Preds are back at it tomorrow night to face the Minnesota Wild at Bridgestone Arena. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
$60 more minutes left on your Tuesday morning. Ramon and Will, glad you're with us. Matt Nagy going to be the next offensive coordinator of the New York Football Giants. Kind of an interesting trade-off the Titans have had here, going from nearly hiring Nagy to develop Cam Ward, but deciding on Robert Saleh combined with Brian Daboll, who was developing Jackson Dart, to now Nagy being the one tasked with developing Jackson Dart. Interesting, Ramon, the fit for John Harbaugh and his first staff in Big Blue.
No doubt about it. Went after 2 Titans coaches at this point, man. Denard Wilson, if not sure if you just said that a second ago.
I did not.
Denard Wilson being there, and also now Matt Nagy was high in the conversation as far as being a head coach here. You also, of course, wonder if Nagy gets a little bit more grace in New York than he did with the conversation that was had from the fan base here about Matt Nagy. And a lot of people just didn't want him, think he was capable of, a lot of things that went behind him. I wonder what justified John Harbaugh finding and signing him to be his OC of as you said a second ago, a young and talented Jackson Dart. I'm very interested the second time around the sun for him and how this looks moving forward.
Yeah, John Harbaugh and Andy Reid well documented their friendship and professional relationship, so clearly they will have already known each other and each other's assistants and things like that. But clearly an opportunity for Nagy to put himself in better position to be a head coach, and that's what he clearly wants. He wants a second opportunity, and we know from watching Eric Bieniemy get passed over time and time and time again for opportunities that it is challenging to get a head coach opportunity when you are Andy Reid's offensive lieutenant.
Right.
To prove, how much of this was actually because of you. Especially when Andy Reid also, has a guy named Patrick who's his quarterback.
And Patrick is most definitely a good bit of the conversation. I'm sure that John Harbaugh, I'm sure that Mike Bergonzi had as well, with the understanding that these young quarterbacks are from the Patrick Mahomes era. What did you learn? What did you see? What do you want to do with them? That's not exactly like Patrick Mahomes, but heck, I think everybody's searching for that type, at least that can, take you to a Super Bowl in their young careers.
So Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar has filed a lawsuit against the NCAA in Knox County Chancery Court, per Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News-Sentinel. After a breakout season as the Vols QB in 2025, his complaint says, the NCAA is blocking Aguilar from playing a 4th year of Division I football, depriving Tennessee of a gifted quarterback and robbing Aguilar of millions in compensation. Joey played his 5th year of college football last year, but the first 2 years were spent at JUCO for Diablo Valley Community College. He would be QB1 if he wins this. And Austin Price essentially said that with us in the last hour. If he had not been voluntarily dismissed, Joey and 25 other athletes were set to get their day in court February 10th as a part of the Diego Pavia lawsuit. The complaint reads, Ramon, if this court grants Aguilar relief from the NCAA's JUCO rule in the near term, Tennessee has a spot for him on the roster and would welcome him back. Quote, his compensation for playing college football in 2026 would be approximately $2 million. So by counting his JUCO years against him, the NCAA is depriving Aguilar of millions of dollars. Austin Price seemed to push us towards the fact that there's probably a better chance of this working and happening versus winning the Pavia decision that is set to be heard a week from now. Otherwise, I don't know if you'd make this move if you don't feel like there's maybe a better pathway following kind of what Trinidad Chambliss and Charles Bediako did versus the Pavia stuff. What's your take on all this?
My take on it, this is a tough one for me because I'm not into the Charles Bediako conversation. I'm anti that. He went pro and came back. George hadn't, Joey Aguilar hadn't declared and come back. It's the way I look at it as well. If you're telling me he's only been allowed to play 3 years of collegiate football.
Division I
football. And he's due a fourth. And they've given a fourth one to numerous guys in this type of situation before. You got to kind of allow it. He's age appropriate. But my other side of watching this unfold is I love Joey. Joey's family is awesome. They're phenomenal. It has nothing to do with him. I just look at what college has turned into. And I hate the business that somewhat is allowing this, not just in Knoxville, but in other places as well. Like, it feels dirty because being in the position that you find just George McIntyre and Faison Brandon in, like, it really pushes them to the back burner. And again, college sports have changed so much and is allowing this to be a part of it because winning has come at such a high rate right now and is judged on how much of a veteran team you can have as opposed to having coaches develop guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm into the development and watching young men turn into better players and go and be pros.
Me too.
But we love winning.
Short term, it's the best option for Tennessee.
It is.
Short term. Long term, I don't know that it is.
It is.
Because long term, if it forces George McIntyre to rethink his options, or you never even get to see George because maybe Faison Brandon gets an opportunity in 2027 and that's an open competition and now Faison's had a year in the system. I think it does George a disservice for someone that's stuck through the process and is a prospect you clearly liked out of high school and out of Middle Tennessee.
Yep.
I'm ready to see what George McIntyre can do. And I say that in the betterment of the sport and in the betterment of long-term health of Tennessee football. All that being said, again, Josh Heupel's looking at James Franklin. Josh Heupel's looking at the pressure that's on coaches right now in this sport to say, I've got to put my best foot forward every single year. I can't be too enamored with 2027 because, let's face it, I mean, how hot is the seat in 2027 if you go 6-6 in 2026? Probably pretty dang high.
Feels dirty. I'm with you.
It does. It 100% does. I don't love it. I don't think it's good for the sport. I don't think it's good for college athletics. But I'm lying to you if I'm going to say I'm not going to be excited to watch Joey Aguilar play for Tennessee in 2026 if he gets the opportunity to. I'm going to do so sitting there saying, I don't love what this sport is.
Yep.
I don't love that this can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, Tennessee football looks better and has a much higher floor.
Now,
we can argue about the ceiling.
Yeah.
Has a much higher floor, I think is not debatable, with Joey Aguilar at the helm versus someone that spent 1 year in the system and hasn't played significant reps yet.
This is the most interesting quarterback cycle I feel like we've seen. From Trinidad Chambliss situation where he's doing the exact same thing.
It gets more complicated every year, doesn't it?
Washington Huskies quarterback that wanted to hop in the portal pretty much couldn't do it. And then you also look at Darian Mensah's situation that pretty much got bought out for $10+ million to go to Miami. And there's literally a buyout for a player that a team was willing to pay on top of giving his sister or relative free admission to the University of Miami, which is a private school. Mm-hmm. And you know that tuition ain't cheap.
Right.
So to your point, Will, yeah. If it helps you win, nobody cares in the end.
Here is one thing that I do not want to see, Ramon.
What's that?
I don't want to see a word about this from Vanderbilt fans.
Why so?
You started it.
Yeah.
You started it.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
Yeah.
Diego Pavia walked so Joey Aguilar could potentially run.
This is true.
And if Diego Pavia really wanted to play another year of college football, I think he could also do the same thing if he really wanted to. We opened Pandora's box in allowing Diego Pavia to play college football in 2025.
It's his case.
And if one JUCO year doesn't count, then why doesn't two? Chris Lee said that to us, Ramon, before last season, before the 2024 season was over. We had Chris Lee on this show, longtime Vanderbilt writer, who said, honestly, there's this idea that if you're going to give Pavia 1 year for playing JUCO, what's to stop you from getting two? Why should 1 year of JUCO count and two doesn't? The same thing can be said for Joey Aguilar. So if you're a fan of another school, A, you've either already had an athlete take advantage of this, or B, you're going too soon. So maybe let's just keep our mouths shut. The only exception is Charles Bediako, because he's the only one who played, went pro, and came back. Yeah. That's its own thing. I think we can all call that out for the crap that it is. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Trinidad Chambliss, Ole Miss fans, I don't want to hear from you. Vanderbilt fans, Diego Pavia, not a word out of you on this. And Tennessee fans, when this happens for other people, kind of got to sit in our hands now, too.
Pipe it down.
Braden Gall of 440 Sports talks Nashville Predators hockey with us coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Brian's Motorsports, where they believe in this. Dream, design, build, and that's for you, man. Whatever you're dreaming of, they'll design it and build it for you. I've had vehicles done by them, man, and I'm here to tell you this. They're one of the best companies around when it comes to customer service, and I'll be real with you, communication. Usually with car places, whether they're customizing or fixing your vehicle, man, you just don't know what you can trust. If the price is right, the work will be done well, they check all of those boxes at Brian's Motorsports, man. Whether you're looking for something subtle or complete custom build, they can deliver cutting-edge style and performance for all vehicles, including the most exclusive and exotic vehicles. You don't have to worry about your foreign car or your family heirloom of a truck or car as well, man. They'll do whatever it takes, from tire and wheel packages to lift kits, lighting kits, winches, interior and audio customizations, whatever you can think of, they can deliver on, because, again, you dream it, they design and build it for you. They're located in 789 West Main Street in Hendersonville, Tennessee, or you can go to all their socials at Brian's Motorsports, and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
A lot of headlines to hit this morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Titans hiring a staff. Headlines out of Santa Clara. Matt Nagy, NFL. Vols, Joey Aguilar. And, of course, Barry Trotz announcing his retirement yesterday. Joining us to do that, you hear him on 440 Sports Network, the Gold Standard podcast. Someone who knows puck. Braden Gall joining us this morning here on Ramon and Will. Is that a fair way to introduce you, Braden? Someone who knows puck, who can talk hockey with us this morning.
Sure. You're going to try to get me in trouble with the FCC right away. I do appreciate that. I thought we were going to talk about the Gunners' 7-point lead across the pond. But
hey now.
Time for another time.
Fellow Arsenal fan, Braden Gall, joining us this morning. That's honestly what I should have led with. Braden, what stands out? A very newsy day for the Nashville Predators. A lot of questions that got answered at a press conference with Sean Henry, Bill Haslam, and Barry Trotz yesterday. From seeing the announcement about Barry Trotz stepping down to the answers we got, what was your biggest takeaway on the Predators front yesterday?
Well, that I think there's an opportunity for the franchise to do something that it's really never done in the history of its organization, which is to sort of reframe and rebrand with outside influence, outside talent, outside ideas and perspectives. They've never done that. Yeah, sure, you went and hired Laviolette, you went and hired Hines, and you hired guys with different philosophies and styles. But like organizational structure has largely been either David Poile or Barry Trotz from a front office standpoint. You have David Poile's son who's being asked to interview, who's been around forever. Kelty and Nickel in the front office have not changed in a long time either. So you have a lot of, I don't want to call it the Predator way, but that's like the best catch-all for how the organization has been built for over 25 years. And many times very successfully. Just not so much the last 5 to 6 years. And so I think the question is do they take the opportunity to, with a search firm, with CAA, with new ownership, do they take the opportunity to go outside of the organization, hire a fresh name with fresh ideas and a fresh perspective, and allow that person to implement that structure and that sort of that organization? And if they do that, who knows if it works, but it is something they've never tried before. And in the modern history, they've never had one person making the decision, not at least since the team was saved in 2007, that they've had a singular voice atop the ownership committee, and Bill Haslam's going to make decisions. And so it's kind of up to him. And I do think this is the beginning of seeing his influence on the organization. Don't know exactly what that's going to mean, but I think it's the beginning of that.
Braden Gall, 440 Sports with us. It's interesting, Braden, the conversation and the statement yesterday that the cupboard is full and Barry Trotz has left the Nashville Predators in a better place. Is that a slam dunk fact today that Barry Trotz has left the Nashville Predators in a better place than where he found it?
Look, Sean Henry is brilliant at messaging and marketing. It's what makes him very, very talented. I don't know if I fully agree with that, because I think there's apathy right now in the fan base. The tickets are expensive. I know they're selling them at heavily discounted rates. There's the future of the television rights broadcast. How are people in this market going to see the team is a major question. I just think this is a turning point for the relationship between the brand and the team and its fans. And if those fans are diehards, then yes, I can agree with Sean's take on that, which is that the farm system is restocked. There is a bright future with lots of prospects and the right people in place of coaching and development. Who knows if that's Andrew Burnett? I have my doubts now that there's a change of general manager. Like, if that's the argument you want to make, that's fine. But you've got that's a very small percentage of Nashville that is paying attention to, like, the first and second line players in Milwaukee, or like a Russian prospect who's in the KHL. Like, right. People, the average fan is not paying attention to that. It's important. And it certainly is true, but you cannot look at last season, one of the worst seasons in the history of the franchise, and the beginning of this season where people wanted the coach fired, and like a $100 million spending spree that delivered basically nothing. Like there's no way you can say that the organization is better today than it was 3 or 4 years ago. It doesn't mean what they have done. Like, there are long tails of potential positive success. You're just not going to see it right now. And so I get what he's trying to say there. But if you guys have been to the arena last year or this year, it's not better than it was, let's say before the pandemic, because the pandemic season kind of shook a lot of things up. But man, it's like they had a really good year in Andrew Burnett's first season, unexpectedly so. That 18-game point streak was super, super fun for everybody going. It has not been a fun product since then.
We're joined by Braden Gall this morning, 440 Sports. Braden, listen to owner Bill Haslam speak yesterday, man. It sounded like this is just the first step in a lot of other changes. And the question I have for you, is it possible for this team to be a contender without undergoing a full rebuild? Because he mentioned how vast they're going to be with this GM search. If they're going to be that wide of a search, that might mean changes in the coaches, changes in the players. Like if they're going to be this thorough, can it happen without a rebuild?
I think that depends on what Nashville wants to be as a hockey market. And I think that depends on, to your point, Bill Haslam's like singular goal and focus. And I'll even correct myself real fast. Like after the really bad start to this season, they're an average hockey team, but they're a very entertaining average hockey team. Mm-hmm. They're extraordinarily average, for lack of a better term. So the question is like, what is Bill Haslam's goal? That's easy to answer. Does he want to sell tickets? Does he want a competitive hockey team night in and night out that's going to generate revenue and bring people to the building and like, hey, this is a good, fun thing everyone can do on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays and maybe every now and then on a Sunday? Is that what he wants it to be? The way the old Predators used to be, which is, hey, we're going to make the playoffs almost every year. We're going to deliver good quality entertainment most nights. We're going to play in a great arena and in a lively downtown area where people love to come. If that's the goal, then no, you don't have to rebuild to do that. If the goal is to win a Stanley Cup championship and hoist the Stanley Cup, I think there's a heavy discussion around drafting top 5, top 8 talent more years than just once and developing it. Can it be done? You can win a championship with maybe not a top 2 pick, but if you look at all the best teams that have won Stanley Cup championships, almost all of them the last 15 or 20 years have had somebody at the top of the lineup that is an all-timer, a Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin. Obviously they're trying with Connor McDavid. Like, you can go down the list. Taves and Kane in Chicago. Like, you go down the list. And so as a part of that debate, I do think we have to ask ourselves as a city, and this is not just a Predators question. This is Nashville SC. This is Vanderbilt. This is the Tennessee Titans. We have to ask ourselves as a city, are we diehard fans of this thing where we are going to demand excellence, which is going to make people uncomfortable? Or are we just going to do the Nashville thing where we're like, all right, it's a cool party, man. I've had a good time here, but now it's not as cool. I'm going to go to the next party. And we're a very fickle city. I've been here 30 years, and we are a very fickle town. And when something's not cool, we move on real fast. And so, like, you go to Nissan Stadium, it's not any different. NFL is the most powerful sport in the United States, and those fans will, I'm not going to Nissan. That's too expensive. I'm not driving into town. Like, we do the same thing for everything else, and so that's sort of on us. Like, as a market, we have to decide what do we want out of our hockey team and out of our hockey city, and then Haslam has to decide what he wants. And if those two things are the same, I don't know why you wouldn't do that thing.
With that being said, then, like, at the time that Barry Trotz decides to step away, the team is at its hottest. Braden, what's the why? Why step away? Like, we're talking about mid-season announcing that you're stepping away when everything is mostly good. What's, in your opinion, the reason why this is?
So, it sounded like he went to ownership in December and said, hey, I'm thinking about retiring, not at the end of this season, but the end of the next season, 26-27. And, you had to go through this. Every player has to go through this. Like, is it the right time for me to step away from the game? Is it the right time? Like, is my heart still in it? Is my body still in it? Can I still do this? What am I prioritizing in life? Like, it's all very complicated stuff. Like, that's an individual's decision. And Barry Trotz has been in hockey for a very, very, very long time. And while we can maybe be critical of, hey, those weren't good contract extensions when he gave Tommy Novak $3.5 million, or, hey, I don't know if Andrew Burnett's the right guy for the job, or, hey, I don't know about this draft pick at 5 versus maybe we should have taken James Hagans instead of Brady Martin. Like, we can debate whether or not the last few years have been great, bad, inconsistent, going to be good. We don't know. But on the whole, Barry Trotz's value to our city as a part of the Predators organization is second to, like, probably Pecorine. Like, I don't know who he's. Roman Yossi. Like, he is among the most important humans in this organization in the city. So, like, you do have to say, if he wants to walk away, that's totally his choice. And it's knowing him. If anybody's ever met him and ever interacted with him, it is not a surprise that he's like, man, I've done this thing for this many years, 2 decades of coaching, and now I've done the GM thing for a few years, and I want to spend some time with my family. I want to spend some time at home. He likes his, he and David Poyle, they like their red wine, so maybe just want to drink more. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just want to relax, and I get it, man. Like, that's for everyone on their own to decide. So on that note, him deciding the retirement thing, that's kind of separate. When it got announced, why it got announced right now, what does it mean about the international break where there's no roster movement, which allows them to conduct some pretty heavy background checks and searches for a general manager without any general managers being able to make any moves? That's a huge benefit right now to make it public. I believe them when they say we just wanted to be transparent. My guess is that this announcement, and this is totally just me speculating here, my guess is that this announcement was probably set to come earlier, but the storm, you can't, we would have been very critical of this organization had this happened during the middle of a crisis. So, like, I think they waited the right amount of time if that's in fact what happened. So that's a little bit more interesting. Like, what are the actual details around why yesterday was the right day for this? My guess is that with a 16 to 18 day break coming up and 1 month almost to the day of when the trade deadline is, it gives you a lot of time to ask people, potential candidates or agents or back channel or whatever, just the general feel of certain players and certain roster moves. And, you're not going to a candidate saying, like, would you trade Steven Stamkos? Like, that's not what you're doing. But if you want to have a general sense of the direction of the franchise, doing it a month before the deadline when you have 16 days where the entire league is frozen roster-wise, that's a pretty advantageous time to be looking at candidates, in my opinion.
Braden Gall, 440 Sports with us. Check out the Gold Standard wherever you download podcasts, Talking Preds. So, Braden, I will ask you that question then. Do you trade Steven Stamkos? Do you cash in on the hot streak from the guy that is starting to look like the one you hoped you'd signed a year ago and set up the cupboard to be even more full? Or do you see what this team can do considering the fact that they were the last team in 1 year and made the Stanley Cup final back in 2017 once?
I think there's a number of players. If you have an expiring contract at the end of the year, there is really no reason for that player to be on the roster after the deadline. That is not Steven Stamkos, but Eric Halla, Michael Bunting. There's some others. Justin Barron. I think they're going to keep Michael McCarron, but any contract that is expiring and you can be traded at the deadline needs to be moved at the deadline. Period. Ryan O'Reilly, I am not worried about because they will be able to trade him again next year at the deadline if they want to. And he right now is their most consistent and best all-around player. So I'm okay keeping O'Reilly because you got another year on the deal, and he will still be very valuable either in the offseason or at the deadline next year. Stamkos is tricky because, like, he's got the no movement clause, so he has to decide it, obviously. But 4 weeks ago, a month and a half ago, I was told that they were going to have to eat at least $3 million of the salary to get him up, to get him traded. That it has that number changed now because he's scoring at a Steven Stamkos-like clip. I think he'd be incredibly valuable to a team that wants a top six winger that can come in and just score power play goals. There's no reason why he would not be of value. The contract is a little steep, and with 2 more years, that's the problem here. But so I think if you can get a deal done for him, I understand. I don't know if you're going to be able to trade him next year because how do we know Father Time doesn't catch him next year? Like, I don't know. So I think he's the guy that's kind of the most complicated. Jonathan Marchessault is probably the most movable player if he decides to allow you to do it because everybody around the NHL loves that contract. So there's a lot of pieces to move. Stamkos is one of them. A lot of difficult decisions. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really want the guy retiring to be making all those decisions, even though I agree with Bill Haslam, knowing Barry Trotz, like when he says Barry's going to do what's right for the team, I think he will. I don't think he's I don't think he's in this to try to take some shine away or just he's not a selfish individual in that sense. So I think he'll do what's best for the organization, but that doesn't mean it's the right thing. It doesn't mean it's the right trade or going to get the right player or the right whatever. You need the new face, the new voice, the new leader to help decide those things.
I've only seen one person pass the torch like this and it work out, and that's Baltimore and Ozzie. To pass it, be involved, and get a championship. And
that's a Super Bowl winning general manager.
You know what I'm saying? That's, I don't know. I get it, him being involved in it, but it just, I don't want to call it more of the same because we don't know the results. But it just seems if you're going to separate yourself, we're not going over there partying with them anymore.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. And everything they are saying could be totally true, right? Barry's not going to be selfish. He's going to do what's best in the organization. We're doing this for transparency. The farm system is loaded, and we're better off in the future than we were when he got here. All of that could be true. It still doesn't change the fact that this is extremely unusual, and that there is no real comparison in any of our major sports, at least that I can remember. Maybe there are, and it's just happening in other markets, and I don't see it. But it is statistically a total anomaly. So we'll see if it works. We'll see. I don't know.
Braden Gall, 440 Sports, talking Preds, talking football, Titans, talking everything. Check him out wherever you download podcasts. The Gold Standard, the Preds show there. He knows puck, so we figured he'd be a great guy to bring in to talk about this. Braden, appreciate you, man. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Braden Gall with us here this morning, making us a little smarter about the Preds. I think it's a great breakdown on the state of Nashville sports and what the Predators want to be. That's a great way to look at it. When you aren't football and you maybe have more options and you have different priorities as an owner to say, how far deep into backstage do we have to step in a rebuild? And how hard is it to fill this arena? How hard is it to make money and all of these things? The Preds have done a great job, Ramon, creating a brand and an identity in this city.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time since we've had to see the Preds, aside from kind of the one-off last year, be totally irrelevant in a playoff chase and in a season for a sustained period of time to stomach a rebuild and kind of fade way into the background in a city that demands more of your sports attention more than it ever has before.
It's just that, and that's where I was going to go next is the conversation with you. Maybe this is a bigger one for tomorrow since the show is closing, but is Nashville a front-leading sports team? You got to be hot. We're the purists. How much of a percentage is a crowd of purists of Titans football? Of, like he said, Vanderbilt sports or the Preds? Or is it only cool when it's hot?
And Nashville SC that has entered the fray and has had wild success since they started in 2020.
I know, that seemed almost as pure as almost anything as far as fan involvement, right? But the big three that he bring up, Vandy, Titans, and Preds, essentially, I know Nashville SC is the one with the championship.
I'd say they're the fourth one.
Big four, no doubt. But the conversation of you need to keep this thing attractive because if you're not, you're going to have empty stands and people lose interest like that. Vanderbilt, to Braden's point, is as hot of a ticket in all sports right now, major sports. Heck, even volleyball at this point, bowling as well.
Baseball, women's basketball. I mean, Vandy is as hot as they've ever been right now.
And to his point, I've seen fans of other teams, colleges, want to go to the West End to watch. Why? Because Nashville is hot.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it before.
That is a self-check situation right there.
Plenty of SEC fans that become Vanderbilt baseball fans in the spring because it's a winter. It's easy to get there. There's a lot of opportunities to take your kids. And, I know multiple, Alabama, Auburn, Kentucky, different football fans in the fall who are Vandy baseball fans in the spring because they've created that kind of legacy and standard. You've got more options now as a Nashville sports fan than you ever have before, and it makes it more challenging to stomach losing unless you're football. Because the NFL and the Titans, and we can argue and not argue, we could discuss the in-stadium atmosphere and the impacts of that because Braden's 100% right. The in-stadium atmosphere is certainly better or worse based on how much you've won.
Yeah.
But there will always be television ratings and numbers and jersey sales and Tennessee Titans fans who buy in. They may not buy in on Sundays in the stadium, but it's football.
It's football.
Like
right.
bad football is better than good versions of most other sports. The Preds don't have that same luxury.
But I feel like the last 2 years of like the Tennessee Titans football have seen a hit in that engagement from the fans to say midway through the season, yeah, I'm not going anymore.
On Sundays in the stadium, 100%. And you can't blame anyone for making that decision.
But it does.
They got options.
It raises the challenge, though, and put a lot of pressure. We said this last week. It put a lot of pressure on ownership and management to keep it hot.
Right.
And to Braden's point, will hockey get loud about it being bad?
That's what I think the key difference is if you're a Titans fan and you don't like the state of the franchise, maybe you don't go on Sundays, but you're still watching. I think if you're a Preds fan and you go through a total rebuild and things are bad, not only are you not going, I don't think you're watching. I don't think you're tuning in because hockey is not baked into our DNA as Nashville and even American sports fans the same way football is. We're going to watch bad football. We just might not go.
Right.
If there's really bad hockey, not only are we not going, I don't think we're watching.
And not buying merchandise.
Yeah. Wow. Especially when it's $170 jerseys from Fanatics.
Right.
That's that merchandise. That's out of the Preds' control. I'll give them that. That's league-wide, but yeah. Final thoughts after this, 615-737-1045. Really good stuff from Braden. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Wrap up the show coming up next. Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up the show. Appreciate Austin Price and Braden Gall for stopping by this morning. Want to definitely talk more about the Nashville sports fans' viewing habits and how that does pertain to hockey. And Braden kind of got us talking both on and off air.
Yeah, he did.
In a really good discussion, and appreciate him stopping by, about what the Predators should want to be. Are you willing to fade into the background in order to stomach a full rebuild and maybe lose some of your brand equity in the market? Certainly a bigger discussion we can get into tomorrow.
Yeah, that we talked the entire break about that. What are you as a fan group?
For sure.
And it's not an attack. It's just, I think, a great open conversation. I think it's fair that we even, for the participants of it, I guess the people who are 40 and over, 35 and older, who were you a fan of before you were a Titans fan?
Yeah.
Because this franchise has been here 27 years now, 28?
Same age as me.
There we go, 28 years. Who were you a fan of before the Oilers, Titans came to Nashville?
I've encountered a lot of Cowboys fans.
Cowboys?
If you ask them that question, they will say Cowboys just because it's America's team in
And
their
the
eyes.
Fox
Or the
connection
Eagles.
when they were coming on
Just
Sundays.
some of the biggest names.
Yeah.
For the Preds, it doesn't matter how old you are. 2017 Stanley Cup run, that's what brought out thousands and thousands of Predators fans. And ever since then, they have that singular expectation of you have to make it back. And when they don't, you lose interest. The other problem with the NHL right now is their inability to get viewership because of the streaming platforms.
Great point.
You can't just go on and watch them on ESPN because the Preds will play on ESPN Plus, but if you go on ESPN Plus, it's blacked out. You have to get FanDuel Sports or whatever it is.
Yeah, my old roommate and lifelong best friend lives in Atlanta, and it is easier for him to watch the Nashville Predators than it is for me living in Nashville.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they have a viewership problem.
What?
Yeah, they have a problem.
He just pops on ESPN Plus and it's there. I got to use. I had to get a Fubo account to watch FanDuel Sports Network because it's not on YouTube TV.
And I think that's one of the only places you can watch it unless you have a cable network.
Right.
Wow.
And not even every cable network has it.
That's true.
Yeah. Right. It's such a mess. And then the Main Street Sports Group is bankrupt that owns all that. So you now have baseball teams that are running their own broadcasts. Like the Atlanta Braves announced yesterday, we're doing our own broadcast. We'll let you know where it's going to be.
I believe the Dallas Stars do that, and the Predators have explored that. I mean, that's why News Channel 5 picks up games from time to time, is because they want the viewers.
And a lot of that's out of their control. A lot of that is league-based blackout restrictions. And if you aren't football, you should be in the business of putting your product in front of as many eyeballs as you can. And I don't know what non-football sports need to have happen to understand that. Get beat over the side of the head with whatever kind of ball they play with.
And $20 a month.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's so ridiculous.
It's also really funny that the Predators just sent me an email. Become Smashville loyal for the 2026 season.
Let's do it.
They're listening.
It's one of those automated emails of become. It's smart of them too. It's like, hey, we just had a big announcement. Maybe you're getting some negative pub. We should push out more season ticket renewals.
No doubt.
I've never had season tickets before, so that would be
I'm going to the game tomorrow.
There you go. Yeah. They did have an electric win last night. Down 4. They won 6-5 over the Blues.
Whoa.
Yeah, 2 goals in the third for Steven Stamkos. Kind of burying the lead there.
Their 4th 4-goal comeback just this season.
Back at it tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. bright and early. Rhett Bryan will be here to talk some Titans. I'm going to talk more about this Nashville sports habit topic. And also, Albert Breer with some interesting stuff on Robert Saleh and his process of hiring coordinators that I think you'll like. We'll do that tomorrow morning.
But remember at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot, baby.